whoever that was, I couldn't understand a word you said. Try it again.
I said airport. Probably some ethanol-free gas, too.
Is this Ron?
Yeah.
Well, stand on that microphone, Ron. You have almost no audio. Now, the last transmission, I could hear you.
Yeah, I didn't have my amplifier on. I was doing some other things. There's a fire over here in Lebanon, Maine, and I'm listening to the trucks going in and out. Like 3-4 alarm fire. A bunch of different towns going out. And I just heard you say it over here in Stanford. We go to Stanford Airport. And it's a little expensive, but it's the fuel that they put into the airplanes, and it's ethanol free. You can pick up 5 gallons of that if you get an airport around you.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't know if I have a small airport around, but but it's got to be frightfully expensive. What's a gallon of airplane fuel cost?
I don't know. I went to Lowe's. Lowe's has got like a gallon can, and it's $20. It's not that expensive at the airport, but and I just bought it for my generator so I could pour a little in instead of using Stabil or whatever in the wintertime. But another guy told me he goes to the airport. He says, don't pay that much for, that Lowe's gas. He says, that's ridiculous. He says, you can get 5 gallons for, I don't know, it might cost you $25, $30 for 5 gallons, but, it's ethanol free, so it lasts a lot longer.
Yeah, that's true. But, if you use the stuff with ethanol in it and you get the high test package, it's a much, much better package, and that lasts a lot longer, too. Okay, so let's see. Anyway, N1 DVL, and who else is in here? Carl, did you find the Stewarts over here?
They're only in New York and Vermont.
Okay, well, I'm not going to drive an hour and a half and drive home with 10 gallons of gas in the trunk.
Yeah, and I heard Ron in there. I didn't get the call. This is Carl, Whiskey Golf 2 Echo.
Hi, Carl. Yeah, I was just jumping in there real quick because I heard you guys talking about it. This is Ron, KA1GRT, up here in Maine.
Okay, yeah, you're just a bit over 9. Good copy. I was just, let me see if there's any, I'll just search Wilbraham. Maybe they got something near you. Let's see what they got.
Yeah, okay, Wilbraham, Springfield. See if there's got to be a station here that sells just regular gasoline.
KA1GRT, clear.
Okay, anyway, any other toads in here tonight? N1 DVL.
Phillips 66, ethanol-free gas in Springfield.
Does it give you an address?
Uh, 467 Main Street, Wilbraham, Mass. 1830 Wilbraham Road, Springfield.
Wait. 467 Main Street in Wilbraham, Mass. That's right down the bottom of the hill.
Perfect Auto Service is the name of it.
Oh, my God. I can't believe it. It's right down the bottom of my hill. It's about a half a mile. That's great. Thank you. Now I can go down there and get all the gas I want. And that's ethanol free.
Well, that's what it says here. Then there's another, Monson, Mass., Hadley, and they're all $2.89, $2.69, $2.59, but there's no price on this perfect one. So, and it doesn't have a Phillips 66 sign like all the others. So I don't know. You'll have to see what's up.
Right, well, that's okay. He's right down the bottom of the hill. So tomorrow when I go down, I'll go talk to him, and if that's it, then I'll drain all my other gas into my cars and go buy 5 gallons of that for my other stuff. I'll drain everything, matter of fact.
Is it a Phillips 66?
No, but it's a private. Like I said, it's called Perfect Auto. I really don't know if it's a Phillips station or not. I'll find out.
Okay, well, there you go. there's that one too that it's a mobile apparently. 1830 Wilbraham Road, Springfield. There's a bunch of them in Springfield, I guess.
I know where that is. That's at 16 acres too. So, yep, good. Plenty of them around here. That's excellent.
Yeah, that's what it says. 16 acres barber shop.
Okay, good. I like that. Right in front of them. Right. I trip over the things and I don't even know they're there.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean. I'll go out and, have to drop my car off for something, and one of my buddies will pick me up and we'll be riding back home or something. And when you're not driving, you get a chance to look around, and, I'll go, hey, holy mackerel, look at that. When did that come there? And he goes, oh, that's been there for a couple years. You really don't notice things like you ought to when you're driving. But yeah, it's like 50 cents a gallon more here at the Stewart's. Of course, it's the high test too, so I don't know if that's all the brands there.
Yeah, but if you drain, if you put that into your lawnmowers and stuff, you'll be way better off. Anyway,
well, that's what I've been doing for the last few years since they came out with that. And I got a lot of little engines there. I got the a bunch of two-stroke stuff. I got the Cub Cadet. I got a pressure washer, and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm gonna take a break for a couple minutes. I'll be back. N1DBL.
Standing by. WG2E.
Okay, I'm back. N1DBL.
Get all your garbage out?
I got it out on Monday. Yeah, I got it out. I had the thing 96 gallons filled up with all kinds of stuff that were thrown, I should have thrown away a long time ago, and I never did. And I got it half full now, and I'm going to if I get some spare time tomorrow, I'll go through it. It's tough. It's tough to throw away stuff. You know, it really is. It's really hard to throw away stuff. Like I've got an old Dynacom 5A Lafayette walkie-talkie. You know, it's that 5-watt walkie-talkie. It held like 12 pen-light batteries, and it's just a wreck. It probably doesn't work, but I couldn't throw it away. But I'm going to throw it away.
Well, why don't you get all that stuff together and take it out to Nearfest?
Look at the money you'd make.
Yeah. With all the money I'd make off all that stuff, I might be able to buy, I doubt I'd be able to buy that sausage sandwich they sell up there, but I'd probably be able to buy a cup of coffee.
People love that stuff. Hello, Carl. Hello, Raymond.
Hi, Randy.
What do you think that Dynacom 5A would bring?
Oh, easily $4.
I was going to say 3.
Well, you'll get that sausage sandwich, I'll bet.
The sausage sandwich is probably 6 or 7.
You better have something to sweeten the pie then.
Can I borrow some money?
I got it. You're going to love it. Put up a sign. For the first person that brings me a sausage sandwich, you can have all this crap.
Yeah, that's great, except it'd probably be poison.
Well, just don't wear your Toad Harbor t-shirt. You'll be fine. They won't know who you are.
Oh, then I might make it.
Oh, speaking of toads, I got this big concrete toad. He's about a foot tall. And usually when the weather's nice, he sits under the rhododendron bush in front of my house. So I got Big Toady out of the shed, and he's out there protecting my house now.
Did you put some siloxane sealer on it, I hope?
Why would he need that?
It's concrete, right? So you gotta put some siloxane sealer on anything that's outside year after year like that. It'll make it last way longer.
Well, he's kind of painted, you know. He's kind of this dark greenish color with the little gold highlights and stuff, and some of the paint has come off, but it's, you know, not how much of the concrete there is showing.
Well, come on. Bring them out, have them high pressure sprayed, then repaint them really, really good. We have a professional painter paint them up really good, and then put that sealer on it.
Yeah, I could get him airbrushed, and he'd be really nice, and I could take a picture and put him on my webpage.
Could auction them off at the picnic, W2MUR.
Oh, do you put the sealer on before you paint them, Randy, or after?
Well, you wouldn't want to seal it. You wouldn't want to seal the paint with this stuff. I wouldn't use the siloxane if you're going to paint it. That's going to make the paint not want to stick to it.
Well, if you come over to the gas...
Well, then that's what you got to do, Carl. Have them high pressure sprayed, cleaned up real good, and have a professional painter flown up from, I don't know. I know, Africa. They have those big 2-foot toads in Africa. Have a professional painter flown in from Africa to paint your toad. Or I even better idea. Ship the toad to Africa and have him painted.
I love it when you talk technical, Ray.
I'll get some car guy that's good with an airbrush and do them up.
Bring it down to Bobby Clem down in Fultonville at the Prime Sign. Told he would do the best job.
Yeah, then but if you bring him to a car guy, then he's going to have a racing stripe.
Yeah, flames.
So anyway, how's everybody tonight? I just came inside. I was out there painting my roller frame. Just about done with that. And I'll be able to roll the lawn on the weekend.
Hey, I'm dying to know, how's what's that thing called? What's that thing called that eats up all the stuff?
Roundup? The rototiller?
No, that thing you got from Randy that you rebuilt, and what's the thing called? You know, it eats up all the trash.
Oh, the brush hog. No, it's not been rebuilt yet. That's the next project. That's one of the projects. I got to do a hood for Maureen's tractor first, and then I gotta drag the mowers out. I got to drag the 3 mowers out and see if I can get one of them to work out of the 3.
Is that brush hog repairable?
Well, I've got a welder. I can repair anything, right? So, yeah, it's repairable, but not for the average clown.
Greg.
Hey, Randy, can I ask you a welder question?
Hang on, there's a braking station in there. Go ahead.
Hey, Randy and Ray, I got bad news for you guys.
What is it?
Mike is slaughtering you guys signal-wise right now. What the hell's going on?
Well, I'm running 100 watts.
Oh, okay. I'll leave you alone. KC1RF.
I got to wait for my amp to warm up, pal.
Hey, Russ, the $5 we agreed on is in the mail.
He's only got a kilowatt anyway. I doubt he could beat me with my 100 watts.
Hey,
He's not beating you here.
Hey, the other day, I opened a letter from Nielsen, and they want me to do a survey, and there was a brand new dollar bill in the letter. So I put that in my wallet, and I just got the guy just called me on the phone. Of course, I hung up on him.
You didn't do the survey?
Of course not. Why?
Oh, what was the survey?
I don't know. You have to listen. Something to do with radio stations and stuff.
You're the perfect guy.
Yeah, I listen to the world-famous Toad Harbor Net exclusively.
That's what you should have told them. They'll be looking all over for the world-famous Toad Harbor Net.
I think we should develop our own Toad Harbor survey.
Maybe we'll get on the Nielsen report.
I was a Nielsen family back in the late 80s there when I lived in Florida.
And what did you get for that?
They gave me $1, and they sent me a book, and so I had to monitor all my television watching for 1 week. And, of course, I was 25 years old, young, dumb, and full of something that rhymes with dumb. So I basically watched about an hour and a half of television that week.
I turned in the Nielsen report. I said to the guy, or the woman, I said, look, I don't watch much TV. I said, I'm not sure if this is going to be any good for you guys. Oh, no, we want your input. You write down how many sets that you have and how many hours in each set you watched. I turned in the blank thing. I wrote in how many sets we had. I wrote in, the information and they called me and they said that, this is unusual that we have this. You took the time to fill this all in, but you didn't write down your time on watching TV. I said, yeah, I did. And she goes, well, what do you mean? There's nothing here. I said, well, that's how much I watch TV. I didn't watch any TV for this period of time. And it was, I think, for a whole month. And I said, Miss, I go to work at 4 in the morning, and I get out about 11 o'clock at night, okay? So there's not much time there for watching TV, So they weren't happy with my results, but I gave them the truth. I've got to go eat dinner. Be back in a little bit. KB2's ZV.
Hey, before you go.
Uh-huh.
I just want to tell you, I was catching up on the what's that show there with our buddy, I can't think of another mental block. Boy, this old age is really Blacklist, catching up on the Blacklist. And I saw the best Blacklist I ever saw. It was just incredibly good.
Well, don't give it away. I want to start watching that again. I'd like to. I think I'm a season behind, to be honest. Because again, we don't watch that much TV. So, but don't give it away. All right.
Okay, but the last 4. There's 4 that I missed. 4, and I've done 3 of them. And the third one was just the best Blacklist I ever saw. It was really, really good. Okay, N1 DVL.
Yeah, I saw it too, man. It was unbelievable. They were definitely some of the best ones I've seen out of all the seasons. Those last 3.
Yeah, boy, it's just getting better and better and better.
I tell you what,
I didn't sign. So KB2ZBP. I'll see you later.
Okay, Randy. I tell you what, Ray, if they find out, Randy, are you gone?
Mike, don't talk about it on the air.
Turn
your volume down.
You're going to eat dinner. Turn down the volume.
Turn your volume down.
People are out there listening, and what happens? I walk back in here for some reason.
Turn down the volume. You're going to eat dinner for the next 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, it'll be over.
No spoilers, Mike.
You shouldn't be listening to the radio while you're talking to Maureen anyway.
I'm not listening to it, but what if I walk? I always turn down the radio. Who wants to listen to you? You bozos. KB2's MVP. I'm clear.
Okay, go ahead now. Tell us the story. Turn the volume down. Well, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Wait a minute. So, Carl, I don't want to spoil anything for you.
Oh, I don't care. I've never watched it.
So if what's his name finds out that his daughter turned him in, man, what is going to happen? Because his sidekick, the black guy, what's his name again?
Oh my God, you're 5 shows behind. I'm talking about the Blacklist is back on regular TV again. Those ones you're watching, that was last season. The new season's already started and they're into number 4.
I know. I'm talking about the last. This is after he got out of prison, man. He got out of prison. He's trying to find the people that double-crossed him and put him in prison.
I believe he did find out it was her.
No, not yet. His buddy Jamani or whatever his sidekick is. I can't remember what his sidekick is.
Yeah, they're all great actors. So, yeah, okay, yeah, I remember he talked to Liz about it, and Liz, he knows that Liz turned him in, right?
Yes, and man, I'm telling you, when he finds out that his trusted compadre and her knew about this, I mean, oh, man, it's going to be bad.
You think he'll kill her?
Nah, there's no possible way he'll kill her. But I don't know if he'll have anything to do with that guy that is his lifelong friend. I can't remember his name. Anyway, I'll think of it.
Well, just the new 4 shows. And tomorrow, what night is the Blacklist on now? Well, anyway, there's 4 new shows, and I watched 3 of them, and those were the best ones. The third one of that new group, the third one is just unbelievable. Matter of fact, I think I'll watch the 4th one when I get off the radio tonight.
Yeah, they're on Friday nights now, which kind of sucks. They used to be on Tuesday or Monday, I can't remember, but they moved it to Friday, so I'm all caught up. So I'm waiting for the latest episode on Friday to record it, because I always record everything.
You're all caught up, so you've seen the new season, this newest season, the 4 of them?
Yes, yeah.
So you saw the one where the girl left her boyfriend?
Yep.
That's the one I thought was the best one I ever saw.
That was a real kind of almost a tearjerker, man. I mean, she paid the price, and I'll tell you what, the Masada, they want to take her out, and they try to make it like they weren't, and they try to take her out, and when they find her, they're going to try to kill her.
Yeah, look what Red did to the Mossad boss there.
I know. That was awesome.
He's a vicious killer,
Yeah, that one guy he was talking to in the plane, the next thing you see him on the ground in the middle of a field somewhere, you threw him out of the plane.
Yep, he wouldn't want to, if he was a member of the Toad Harbor Net, you wouldn't want to cross him.
No. No, it was a beautiful day here today, 56 degrees, beautiful day all day. I was in the office most of the time and working on some stuff, but it's been nice. The weather's been good. It's going to rain tonight, though.
So are the lights still working up at the college?
Yep, they're all working on the college. The only downside is they don't want to. See, my job included putting them in temporarily, and then putting them in permanently. So now they don't want to put them in permanently on the chapel because they don't feel they can properly run the wire, which I don't agree with. I can run that wire in the seams of the steps where this caulking is. It's hard to visualize, but so long story short, I'm going to have to take them down in a couple weeks.
All that work you did, and now you're going to go take it down?
Yeah, I know. It's actually good for me in the sense of profitability, but I'm a little disappointed that we aren't going to keep them up.
Well, I've just come up, you know how I think fast, right? Well, I've just come up with this brilliant new idea.
Yeah, I mean, there's a way to do it. I mean, there's a way to. I've already come up with a way to totally. Did you have an idea?
Yes, it's for you too. They claim to rebuild the church over there in France. It's going to cost $3 to $5 billion. $3 to $5 billion, and they think they can get it done in 5 to 8 years. So, I would, if I was you, this isn't me, but that's your job. If I was you, I would send them a proposal to light that new chapel with those LED lights.
Oh yeah, I could spend the next year in France.
Yeah, on like a 200-foot boom lift.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh!
They found the bird.
I would have to.
What bird was that? That was right at the top of the spire. You know that little pinnacle spire. When it went down, they got the bird. It's got to be made out of copper because it was green. I forgot what kind of bird it is, but they got the bird. And I'm going to tell you, that's going to look really nice, all lit up there at night.
It was a rooster, wasn't it?
I don't know what it was. Yeah, I think it might have been a rooster. I think you're right. But I'm telling you, can you imagine what it's going to cost to light that spire and the whole outline of that Notre Dame cathedral? That's going to you're going to spend the next year or two in France, number one, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years over there. Plus, when you get done with that job, you'll be retired for life.
Yeah, but you can imagine the outlay I would have to put out before I got paid.
Take your radio gear with you. We'll work you from here.
That's right. Yeah, we'll be able to work you every night. Hook up to that spire. That'll be your vertical.
So say I do $10 million worth of business, I'd have to lay out my own funds at least $5 million.
Well, that's no problem. The Bank of France would be footing the loan for you because they know the money's there.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, even when you're dealing with commercial stuff, I mean, 30 days of terms is generous, because I'm used in residential work. I always get 50% up. Of commercial work, you never get a deposit. It's always 30 days from when you submit the invoice, and then some cases, for bigger contractors, multi-millions of dollars, it could be 120 days. It could be 6 months before the college pays, depending on what they agree to.
Listen, who cares? I'm telling you what I'm going to do for you, because I'm your pal. If you get the contract, I'll go to France with you, and we'll just tour France for the time that the beauty of it is they're going to build the thing from scratch, so you're not going to have to run the wiring outside. It's going to be all inside, internal, done right.
Yeah, I'll have to get hooked up with whatever architect. They're going to do a big architectural contest worldwide to see who comes up with the best design for the economical. I guess I don't know what their parameters are, but it's going to be a big contest in the architecture world. That's who I'd have to hook up with.
Okay.
For the spire, right?
Listen, $3 to $5 billion. I'm sure there'll be a nice little hole in there for you. And may I suggest right off the bat, you don't be chintzy, you don't be cheap. Use Teflon wire.
Biggest thing I got going against me is I don't speak French.
Who cares? We're going to have a couple of 18 or 20-year-old girls that can translate for us.
Yes. I like the way you think, Ray.
You could hang some kind of a stealth antenna while you're working there.
That's right. We can have the best inverted L ever.
And don't forget, we'll be staying in a 5-star hotel with 4 adjoining rooms.
Yeah, with Paris. I was in Paris in the year 2000. Y2K.
Right. Okay. Well, don't worry. They'll be. I'm telling you, we're gonna do a great job there. You know, you just pay me, I mean, what the hell? You just, my expenses, all expenses paid, and give me $50 an hour, and I'll be happy as a clam.
We'll get you up there on the 200-foot pinnacle.
Not unless it's laying down on the ground. Matter of fact, that's what I suggest. When the pinnacle's built and it's laying down, we'll wire the whole thing right on the ground, and then they just put it up.
No, you got to look at that pinnacle like a cupola. It's just like a cupola. They're going to get a gigantic crane, maybe a helicopter because it's so high, and just lower it down, just like they did at the cupolas at Colgate, only it's instead of 65 feet, it's 200 feet. And then if I would have known I was going to do this before, we would have had it designed right into the cupola before they set it up there, and then it was just a matter of when they put it in, they bolt it down and they plug it in.
Exactly. I'm telling you, I'm right on top of this. I'm right on top of it. You got to send over your stuff down to light that up. Just tell them, say, listen, none of this old-fashioned lighting. It burns out. You got to change the light bulbs. Our light bulbs are good for 100,000 hours.
I'd be shocked if they didn't have LED lights up there before it even burned.
I doubt it. I really, really, really doubt it. That the wiring in there is probably it's probably back from the 20s or the 30s.
Yeah, knob and post wiring.
That's probably what lit the place on fire.
Well, my grandmother's house had that up in the attic. It was like a ceramic thing, and it had a little cap on it. You could put 2 wires through it, and then you nailed it down.
And my son's converted a lot of homes out of a tube and knob to regular and rewired them and ripped a lot of that stuff out.
And a lot of the light switches in the house were those push-button ones. You push the one in and the other one comes out.
Yeah, either that or the ones you turn.
Oh, yeah, there was a couple of those, too.
Well, anyway. So, okay, I just made you a multi-millionaire. What's in it for me?
You're going to have to, if I'm going to be a multi-millionaire, that means that you're going to have to, I'm going to hire you to sing behind me as I walk around and do my stuff. I want you to be singing the whole time.
Me, be my little baby, my one and only.
That's right. You're going to have a French hat on and a little French pants and colored shoes, maybe some orange shoes, and you're just going to be just following me around singing.
Dress him up like a mime.
Great, I'm going to be the jester.
A French mime.
Yeah, he can't talk. All he can do is move his hands.
I'm going to have nightmares over this now.
Hey, listen, I'm Italian. I know how to talk with my hands.
No, I know what you can be. You can be my personal chef.
I can do that, too.
I got to eat well.
Oh, yeah. You know what I had tonight, which is really out of the ordinary? Stop and Shop is out on strike, and quite frankly, they're way behind the times. I started going back to this Big Y store. Big Y has a store that's probably only 10 years old there, and it's just much more modern, and they have just incredible food. Their food, everything in their store is way better, and they have this lettuce. Have you ever seen this? The lettuce that's still growing? They put the lettuce in there with the curled roots damp, and the lettuce is still growing when you pick it up, when you open the container and you pick the lettuce, and boy, was that good.
I don't believe any of it.
No, I'm telling you, it's real, because I had that lettuce, and I'm telling you, it's fresh, it's just like you picked it in the garden. It is incredible, and it's really good. Now that Stop and Shop lost me totally. I'm just going to go to Big Y now. I used to go to Big Y anyway, but I just didn't like the policies of the store. But now that I have a few more, I don't have to worry about money as much anymore, so I can afford the better stuff.
See, the thing I like about the hanging lettuce is you don't have, I know the romaine lettuce you buy in 3-packs is pretty much all washed, but I like that hanging lettuce because there's no dirt in it, no contamination. It's just ready to go. You can eat it, and it is good. But don't they have a Whole Foods? Have you ever went to Whole Foods?
I don't know if there's a Whole Foods around here, but all I know is I looked at the store real good today because I was looking for their stuff that is, organic. I really walked around a lot, and boy, they got some beautiful stuff in the store. I bought a nice piece of swordfish, fresh swordfish, unfrozen. I didn't eat it yet, but I bought that, and I bought that piece of lettuce, and I'm telling you, they got really nice stuff there.
Well, it sounds great, but Whole Foods, if you ever get a chance, look it up and go over there and just walk through it. It's just really, I wish they don't have, I got to go to Syracuse for everything. It's like Randy, is pretty close to stuff, but for me, I got to go 45 minutes to get decent, like Wegmans. I don't know if you've heard of them. Whole Foods, those are great places. But these supermarkets here, they're just so behind.
Bicentennial Plaza, Springfield, Mass.
Say it, where is it?
Bicentennial Plaza, 1500 Allen Street, Springfield.
And that's a Wegmans?
No, Whole Foods.
No kidding, that's right where I shopped today. That's exactly where I went. That's where Big Y is. I didn't know there was a Whole Foods up there. I'll have to check it out.
It says Better Life Whole Foods.
Yeah, you'll love it. They got the best organic selection going.
Wow, I'm telling you, I'm going to be eating like a king, like a goddamn king. What did you say there, Mark?
I said, yeah, you'll love Whole Foods. They're really good.
Okay, well, boy, I'm going to be eating like a king.
Well, guys, I've got taco. It's taco night tonight, so I've got to get grab something to eat here. I will return. It's great talking to everybody, and we'll swing on back here. W2MUR, QRT.
Don't forget now, the next thing you got to buy. You know what the next thing you got to buy is, right, Mike? You buy the other amp, and you get the power combiner for free.
Yeah, I buy the other amp, I get the combiner, I got to get the auto tuner with the remote interface, and then I can remote from my car and change any frequency just from my car. I can go up and down the whole amateur radio band from my car.
Yeah, because that 5 is coming out any day. They're going to have that 5 here starting any day now. So once they have that 5, boy, you'll sound like you're sitting right in front of your microphone.
Yeah, well, that's true. 5G is going to revolutionize some stuff, man. People don't understand how fast that is.
Well, I'll tell you what, 4G was a big improvement, and 5G is going to be even better. I heard they even have like 6G and 7G, and all that's still that's already on, in the thinking process. So, but that'd be they'd be using your base station. That'll work out much better. Okay, anyway, go ahead, go have your stuff in N1 DBL.
All right, guys, see you soon.
One more way to irradiate you.
Now, you know what the minimum safe distance is from a 160-meter antenna at 1,500 watts?
3 inches?
No, it's 3 feet. I think it might be a foot and a half, but it's not more than 3 feet. So if you're 3 feet away from the antenna, you're okay.
Yeah, but I'm talking about 5G and higher.
Oh, I don't know anything about 5G. I'm just worried about, this thing right, with my own RF. 3 feet. I'm not 3 feet from anything, so I'm all set.
Well, what about those of us that use personal media devices?
I don't have any.
Yeah, but Ray, you're not the only human being on planet Earth.
I don't care if you all die. I'm only worried about me.
Oh.
Somebody's in there calling. You're way, 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 way down, but go ahead. Yeah, Echo Charlie, Charlie. You said portable, but do you mean mobile or portable? Okay, well, you're S6 here in Wilbraham, Massachusetts. So where are you? Lowell. Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know. Anybody else hearing this, gentlemen?
No.
Yeah, see, I'm the only one that can hear you. But anyway, I'm hearing you. So, okay, anyway, 73 N1BVL.
So you'd be like perfectly okay if you were like the only guy on an island and there was nobody else.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with the little setups. You know, they can hear everybody perfect, but nobody can hear them. So we got those guys come in here before, just pretty much useless, unless it's an emergency and you get on, you call for help, and you can get one guy, you can get the help, but to QSO, useless. Anyway, what's new with you, Mark? How's your antenna? Is it up? Is it down? Well, what's the story?
You don't care anyway. You're only worried about you.
Well, who else should I worry about?
You should worry about lots of other people, Ray.
Well, yeah. Well, you should listen to the average dolt up here in this area when you talk to them on the other band. I don't worry about anybody. I hope they all die.
That's not very nice.
It probably isn't very nice. You're probably right, but they don't deserve any what's the word I'm looking for?
I think you're being a little harsh.
Compassion.
Trust me when I tell you. Trust me when I tell you. I am not being harsh.
I mean, you're starting to sound like a cruel third world dictator or something.
If I had total power, I'd probably kill half those people. I'll be honest with you. They serve no useful purpose on this earth at all, except to make everybody's life miserable. No. You know what I always said? Now listen, tell me, Mark. I want this to come directly from you only. Tell me if you think this is a sound advice. When I was in my 30s, I just said to myself, if I hated somebody enough to kill them, I would never kill them. I would just torture them. Does that sound more reasonable?
I think you got a lot of unresolved issues there, brother.
No, it's not true. It is not true. I could tell you a very interesting story. It's maybe some night I'll tell it to you. It's about a girl that used to work for me, and she was a druggie. And she went to one of the guys that used to come in my place, a real good old guy. He saw her standing in line in this Winchester Square area. And there's a line 200 feet long going into this doctor's office. And this guy knew all about it. It's a phony doctor. He lost his license. He was a doctor, but he lost his license because he just gives out prescription drugs to anybody who wants them. And he's working off another guy's license now, doing the same thing. And this girl was in line. So, needless to say, one night I go down to my restaurant, and she's in the kitchen, and she's sleeping. She's the only person in the kitchen putting out orders, and she's on this little table in the end, and she's sleeping at the table, and in front of her is a thing of painkiller pills, and it's 6 to 7 inches high and 3 inches in diameter, and it's 3/4 filled with these pain-killing pills that she gets at the witch doctor. Okay, so I end up firing her. Now, she ends up suing me. Because I don't know because she was on workman's comp or something. I don't know what her story was, but needless to say, she was my work for the next 3 years. And I'm just going to tell you this. God, do you believe in God down there? You're a God-believing person. God showed me the way. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. God always kept me informed of where she was.
Ray, if there was no luck, you found it, and it was bad luck.
No, it was great luck because she ran into a lot of problems, and she ran into so many problems she ended up moving. And once she moved to a completely different area. And of course she wasn't working for me anymore, so I totally lost her. And one day I look up in front of me, and guess who the car right in front of me is? It's her. Now, God gave that to me.
I don't know, Ray. I still think you shouldn't be so mean.
It's okay for somebody who's breaking every law in the book to just sue me, just because that's a way for them to try to make some more money?
World's full of those kind of people, Ray. You can't let them take you down to their level.
Trust me. She ended up giving up, okay, number one. And number two is I got my satisfaction.
Yeah, all you can do is do the right thing and hope others learn by your example. And if they don't, then they're going to have to answer to somebody with more authority than you.
Well, that's the only thing that you're right about, okay? It's going to be that person, because there's nobody on this earth, okay, no one on this earth that makes people like that pay for what they've done. They just look at the Democratic Party. Just look at those scumbag Democrats, what they're doing all over this country. They want all these people in the country. The scumbag mayor of New York was down there shaking the hands of all these people coming across the border, making a little show. But if Trump sends any of those people to New York, he's going to sue the president. Does that tell you there's like two standards in this world?
Well, that's how communists work, Ray. They tell you one thing while they do another thing.
Well, they're the kind of scumbags that deserve the wrath of anything.
Still gonna get it, Ray. Just relax. Their time's coming.
You know, that's one thing I believe. But you believe they're going to get it after they're dead. I believe that when this new attorney general starts his grand jury, you're going to see 20 to 30 of the highest-ranking people in this country go to federal prison for a very long time, because they messed with the wrong guy. You know who they messed with? Who did they mess with?
Ray?
You know what? You're smarter than I thought, because you had the right answer. They messed with Ray and they messed with Trump. You got it.
Boy, you're on fire tonight. What did you drink?
I didn't drink one thing. I just hate scumbags who try to live their life off of somebody else's hard work.
Oh, my God, that's been going on since the dawn of the ages.
But some people take it to extremes.
Oh, you haven't seen nothing yet, Ray. They've got plenty of room for improvement.
Right, well, whatever. All I'm telling you, I'm the wrong guy to do it with. Because, you know, when Trump's running for re-election, I'm going to start running my Trump hat. I'm going to start wearing my Trump hat. And you know what else I'm going to carry? I'm going to carry one of those stun things. And if somebody tries to take that hat off me, they're going to pay.
I mean, you're going to go to jail for a very long time.
I don't agree. That's assault and battery. They touch you. That's assault and battery. And in the state of Massachusetts, if the guy's an elderly person, which I am, it's a felony.
So you don't think that they have a right to speak their mind on what they believe?
Well, they have a right to say anything they want, but once they grab a hold of me and try to take that hat off my head, they're fair game.
Well, how are they going to feel when you stun them?
I could care less. Believe me, if I was alone and nobody was there, I would just sit there and hold the thing on them until the battery ran out.
Assault with batteries.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm telling you, don't say I didn't tell you the truth. You know I don't lie. I'm not the kind of guy you want to try to do something like that to. Okay? And I really mean that. Let's put it this way. I don't turn the other cheek.
Oh, I know, Ray. There's a lot of people that don't. That's what wars are all about.
Well, you know what the deal is. If it comes to the war, just make sure you're on the winning side.
Whether they're right or wrong, right?
Well, I mean, we can look through history, and I'd be willing to debate it with anybody. Let's see, was Mussolini right? Was Saddam Hussein right? Was Adolf Hitler right? Was Joe Stalin right? Was Mao Zedong right? Were any of those guys right?
Well, they didn't have very good outcomes. And a lot of other people didn't either.
And when you win, you get to rewrite the history books.
Yes, that's one of the benefits.
Exactly. One gets to write the history of what happened.
So don't be a loser, even if you're right.
Don't be dead right.
Well, no, I didn't get a chance to tear the amp apart and clean it all up yet.
Well, of course not. What were you doing today that we were so busy?
I was on the 9th floor of the Alex DeGrasse building working like a dog all day.
Well,
Your
that's
signal
good for
looks
you.
fine
That's
tonight.
excellent. Now, do you work 40 hours a week?
40 hours a week? What do I look like?
I don't know. I mean, I've been told you're on the radio during the daytime a lot, like on 60 meters or something.
Oh, really? So you're like, following me around on Facebook or something?
I don't have a computer, remember?
Oh, but you have the Ray book.
That's true. I keep in touch. N1DBL. Well, whatever. Hey, look, you want a Kenwood 890. There's only one way you're going to get it.
I don't have a job with defined benefits.
No, but if you work hard in America, especially now, if you work hard in America, you can just about do anything you want. That's just the way things are.
And remember, if you work hard and diligently, you're going to get it in the end.
Well, I mean, look at Randy. Randy's a perfect example of a guy that works hard. Personally, I think he works too hard, but there's a guy who works hard, and look at the kind of radio he's got. Does he deserve it? Of course he does.
I don't know about that, Ray. You were sounding a little bit mean earlier. I thought you were going to say he didn't deserve it.
Of course he deserves it. I never said he didn't deserve it. I wouldn't have bought it, but he wouldn't have bought it either. He would have bought this Kenwood had it been out 6 months earlier, But, I mean, the point is, it is a beautiful radio, and you certainly can't get one any better. The Kenwood's not better. It's almost as good. It doesn't have 2 receivers, and what else doesn't it do? Actually, the Kenwood's better. I think the Kenwood's a better radio, to be honest with you. I'd argue that point with anybody. But, if you have to have 2 receivers, then you have to buy that. But see, here's the thing that, which of course I've talked to about this with Randy. You can buy 2 Kenwoods and still be $4,000 ahead. And 2 Kenwoods are better than a 7851.
I still like my 2000.
Well, okay. Hey, listen, again, did you hear my Drake story yesterday? Were you in there when I was telling? I think you had gone. When I was telling back in 1975 when I had one of those 2-piece Yaesus, and I used to sit up there on the end of the CB band calling for these people I heard way off in the distance.
So we don't talk about the CB band here, Ray. I want to hear about some more stories of miserable people.
No. This is a story that you didn't hear, so you really have to hear it. The other guy heard it. I had a Yaesu 2-piece, FL101 and FR101B receiver, and that was a really wicked unit back then, although before that I had a Tram, and the Tram was actually a far better radio, but, I was young and stupid. So anyway, I sit there at 3 and 4 in the morning listening to all these weak people way off in the distance, and I'd call, and for a year I called these weak people. I'm sure they were down in New Jersey, probably down in the Jersey area, and I could never get back to them. And then finally I bought a Drake DSR-2, which is a laboratory-grade receiver, and I brought it home and hooked it up, and I put a switch in between them, and I would tune in those weak little signals way off in New Jersey, and I'd put the Drake on the same frequency, and guess what? There was nobody there.
Oh, my God. How did that happen?
Well, can't you figure it out?
I don't know. You're telling the story.
They were never there. They were little spurs from somebody stronger, down the band, 100, 200, 300 KC away. because eventually when I couldn't get him on the Drake, and I certainly knew the Drake was a better receiver, I just started tuning around with the other receiver until I found him. And then you'd hear the guy 30 over 9 or 20 over 9 or 10 over 9 on some frequency, and you'd see the little signal up there on the end. And then when he stopped talking, the signal went away.
I'm starting to think that maybe that's what happened last night. I had such a big and bodacious signal that these guys were actually hearing me through their poor receivers. What do you think?
I'm sure that's not true because I was hearing you too.
And I could see you.
I don't know what the issue was, but I heard. Do you listen just for the hell of it? Just for the hell of it. Do you listen to what people say?
Sometimes, if I like you.
Well, do you remember what I said about your signal before when they came up and said that it happened? That I said, yeah, for the last 45 minutes I've been hearing some anomaly on your signal. Do you remember what it was?
It makes me wonder, though, why would you let me sit here and sound like that for 45 minutes and have somebody else say something, and then finally it brings you around to make a comment? I mean, I thought we were friends, Ray.
That has no. See, there you're completely wrong as usual. You sounded fine here, but every once in a while when you were talking, I heard a mechanical breakup. You would just hear like that. It was a mechanical breakup where it just sounded like a bad connection somewhere. And then they came and said that you were all over the band. Now, I find it, with all my 55 years of experience in radio, I find it inconceivable that mechanical breakup I was hearing isn't part of the problem. And what did I tell you? I forgot that you don't have 3500Z tubes. For some reason, I was thinking that has 3500s in it. That's why I was telling you to clean all the pins on the tubes. But I don't think that's the tube issue anymore. I think my best guess is it's either those SO239 connectors are burned up on the inside and they're not tight, or the relay, the TR relay, is arcing. One or the other.
Oh, it's probably the relay.
Probably is. I agree with you. Probably is the relay. Then, when you buy a new piece of gear like that, when I got this Sigma 3000D, it sat in my cellar for 2 months, and every day I would go down there and clean it and work on it and polish the relays and put all new diodes in it and all new capacitors and this, that, and the other thing. And, it took me a month and a half to get it going, but I went right through it. And, when you get an old amp like that, you just don't get it and throw it on and make it work. You take it all apart and you clean everything real good, and then you make sure you got sequencing on the TR relay, and then the problem won't show up again. Okay, I got to hit the head here. I'll be back. N1 DVL.
All righty. Well, we'll be here waiting with bated breath. N3 or more.
Okay, now, one last thing before I go, because I want to tell you this now so I won't forget. I hope you're smart enough to, when you service that amp, to get a good pair of magnifying glasses, a good strong light, or, one of those 10-power jeweler loops, and look at the TR side, the transmit side of that relay. Now, if it's all beat up and carboned up and pitted, most likely that's your problem. But you gotta look at it and verify that before you just don't clean it for no reason. I mean, you clean it no matter what, but you gotta look at its condition first. If it's all burned up, which I suspect it is, that's probably what your issue is. I'll be back. N1 DVL.
You better hurry. You're not gonna be able to hold it.
Thanks for the warning, N1SAG.
Hi, Dave. WG2E.
Hello. It's N1SAG for everybody that's in here tonight. I hear Marcus Stainless Stiliades down there beyond the Pennsylvania borders. And oh God, say your name quick so I remember. N1SAG.
Oh, you mean there's actually other people on here tonight?
He's Kuprick Mark.
I'm sorry?
Kuprick Mark. I forgot Carl's name.
Oh, Carl. No, my name's Mark, not Carl.
No, you're Marcus Stainless
Steliadius.
No, I'm not Stainless Steliadius anymore. That's all in my past. I got the therapist for it, and I spent a lot of money, and it took a long time, but I think I finally got over the tragic relationship with steel.
Well, I'm still. You earned your name in history as Marcus Stainless Steliadius.
I really wish you just wouldn't bring up bad memories like that, because it makes me, get the shakes.
Well, your signal wasn't that far off, but I gotta say the audio did improve, I don't know what the change in material's got to do with that, but you sound good. Sound good, Carl, you sound good. I don't know who else is in here, N1SAG. I'll be back. I got Mom on the phone, WG2E. So it makes him Rusty-O-S.
Yeah, but I can't possibly be sounding good. I'm running a Kenwood 2000.
Nothing wrong with that rig.
Anyway,
somebody's way in the background there. Go ahead, try it. I got Alpha something. Anybody copy him over?
Yeah, bring that call back again. Kilo 2, Romeo Alpha, I think I got that right.
Alpha Romeo Alpha.
Thank you.
K2AYA.
K2AYA, N1UIR. So,
I'll copy, please.
oh, you're 5 and 8 in Central Connecticut.
Okay, thank you. How's the audio?
Don't let Ray hear that audio.
It's
fine.
The
rain gutter,
Ray will pick it apart for you, though.
WA2E.
Good evening.
I think I doubled with the other station. Sorry, but that's
reports. Give
hello,
another
Bob,
half hour.
down there on the rain gutter, N1SAG Dave.
Yeah, we'll allow Ray to tear it to pieces, over.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about him. Just ignore him. Sounds good. Anybody that can make anybody can make a rain gutter talk is good in my book.
Insulating and loading up the rain gutters. Nothing better.
And then there's a WA2EES. Go ahead.
Just saying good evening, guys. I'll be here listening. WA2EES.
Okay, good evening. N1SAG.
In QSC, a guy is doing a double magnetic loop for 150, over.
I saw that. That's too much. That's too complicated for me. I can just barely figure out a dipole.
Electromagnetic, the electrical field and the magnetic field on a standard dipole are 90 degrees out of phase, and we're still.
Yeah, I got to read the article more, Bob, but it sounded too complicated for me. Over. Yeah, I get all that. It's just too complicated. It would take me a year to construct that thing. I wonder how long it took that guy. I didn't read the whole article. Over. Yeah, I read his materials list and I skimmed over that whole article, but it seemed like a lot of work just to talk on the air. But I guess if you're limited room, that'll work. Over. Oh yeah, that too, I guess. Yeah, over.
Anyway, I gotta go. Take care, and thanks for the comeback. So here's K2AYA saying 7-3, and good evening. Bye-bye.
Okay, Bob. Yeah, your signal was up and down. You came way up and then faded. Conditions very poor lately. I guess we got some kind of hole in the ozone or something that's affecting sunspots or something. All right, nice to hear from you, Bob. K2AYA N1SAG clear.
You're clear in my reception, and yeah, conditions are very tough. But anyway, good evening. Bye-bye. 7-3.
I can't believe what I just heard.
Oh, no!
What'd you hear?
You don't understand how the coronal hole makes it impossible for the band to be straightened out?
No. I don't. Not only do I not know, but I don't care about all that stuff. Ever since Bruce kind of put this kibosh on the Big Bang Theory, now everything is a suspect. Over.
Now, Bruce is an alien. Why would you listen to him?
He didn't use Massingale to clean out the coronal hole.
Exactly. Do you have a valid amateur call, by the way?
And when you are.
Thank you. I'm just checking, because you make comment like that, you got to make sure you put a call with it, because you might accidentally be labeled a mascot.
What are you trying to say?
What?
I'm just shocked and all beside myself that Dave doesn't understand how all that interaction. I mean, that is just that's so important in the amateur radio club to understand how all that works. I mean, that affects propagation. It affects on where you can talk and what's going on. And I mean, any ham that has half his mustard should understand those things.
No,
well,
I'm all out of mustard.
From this 3 square I have up on 160 and switch over to the inverted L, it has a 9-to-1 magnetic balun, 4,000 watt magnetic balun on it, 9-to-1, un. I can switch to that and you can hear it. And that's a magnetic balun.
It's not watts, it's kilovolt.
There we go. Now we're on the 175-foot inverted L, 120 feet up in the air at the apex, and with a 9-to-1 in magnetic balun with about 100 feet of coax feeding it. There we go. There. Switch to this antenna.
Is it an un or is it a balun?
It's an un.
Well, how could it be an un if it's a 9-to-1 un?
Because if you go to balundesigns.com and look, you'll see that they make not 4,000 watt 9-to-1 un.
4,000 watts. It's not watts, it's kilovolt.
Is that like a center-fed ZEP?
I don't know. I made it myself. There's no ground radios required at all. You don't need ground radios, nothing. The coax, I'm using the coax as the counterpoise.
You can't do that. Coax isn't paid to do double duty.
Well, I've got 100 feet of LMR 400 feeding the 9-to-1 un, and then 175 feet of number 14 insulated wire goes straight up from the balun. The balun's 5 feet off the ground. Goes straight up 35 feet, and then does a 45 for the rest of the 175 feet, and the end of it at the insulator is at 120 feet off the ground, and it's flat as a pancake, no tuner required, and it's resonant on 160, and it's inverted L.
And you know what that makes that antenna?
That's a half wave 160.
It makes it unbeatable.
It makes it no ground radios in my lawn required.
Oh, you could put ground radios out, but you just don't want to.
No, I tried grounding it with radios, and the SWRs went out into outer space unusable. Without the ground radios, just using the coax as the counterpoise, the shield, and the coax lays on the ground. And on the radio side of the coax is 21 feet of coax wrapped on a ugly balun, a 1-to-1 choke. So there's 10 feet of coax from the radio, goes out the window. Then there's 21 feet wrapped on a piece of 4-inch PVC. and then the rest of the 100 feet goes to the 9-to-1 un, and then the wire goes up from there. No ground radios or nothing. It's flat as a pancake on 160.
Oh, cool. And you just achieved this, or what's the deal?
I designed it, built it, and to see if it would work, and now there's like 8 or 9 people in town here in Connecticut that have put the same antenna up and can't believe it, that they have an actual antenna that's resonant on 160 and don't need a tuner, and it's only 175 feet.
Well, there you go. Is it published yet?
No, I haven't published anything. You know, I just did it. It works, and told some friends about it, and they built them.
Do you have a trademark or a patent on it yet?
Negative.
Well, if it's not published and it's not patented, then it's probably not doing what you think it's doing.
I don't care. All I know is I can talk to you with it, and I don't need a tuner, and I'm running about 800 watts into it.
Somebody will steal the design, call it their own, make $1 billion on it, and you'll feel like a dum-dum later.
I don't need the money, and I hope they do, and put it out and help other hams. Better yet, I hope they build 1 million of them and give them out to 1 million hams.
Oh, a philanthropist, are we?
How you doing, Mark? KA3SDK.
Good evening.
Doing well for myself and retired at 58, so I don't care about that other stuff. I'd rather help a ham and build them an antenna and give it to them than charge them or do all the other crap.
Oh, I definitely get it trademark patented, and then I charge them triple. It can't be any good unless you pay too much at a FanFest.
Then I might as well just go to DX Engineering and buy one of their overpriced antennas.
Yeah, that does sound familiar, doesn't it?
Or Delta Alpha, whatever the hell those are, that cost way too much.
Oh, yeah, the dummy load known as Alpha Delta.
My other homemade antenna that I have up started out as an 80-meter dipole with a 1-to-1 current balun it's flat-topped at 120, and I took it all down and converted it into a 5-wire, 7-band fan dipole flat-topped at a 120.
Well, isn't that interesting? Is anybody else kind of wondering why it's taking Ray so long?
Not me. I got a new name. It's Marcus Copperadius.
No, here we go again.
Always read the instructions before you operate your equipment.
Thank you.
Chris down there in Maryland, N1SAG, hello.
That was funny. Timing is everything. I'm not afraid to laugh myself, unlike some hams.
Is Chris still there, N1SAG?
Hey, how you doing, Dave? KA3SDK.
Okay, we're doing okay. I hear the doggies in the background.
I want audio like SDKs.
Like that?
Yeah, I like that audio. It sounds so nice.
I thought you were talking about my dog.
No, well, I mean, I can hear your dog too, but even the dog sounds nice.
You running the Yaesu or the ICOM, Chris?
I'm running the ICOM, of course. The Yaesu is actually at the shop. I sent it out to have repairs done to it.
You broke it already?
No. The antenna tuner was never right, and I had them. They're out working on it now, and hopefully I'll get back in a week or so.
Okay, just wondering. Well, the ICOM does sound good, no question about it.
Yeah, it does. It sounds marvelous, darling. Just marvelous.
It works. Good enough for me. How's everything going there, Dave?
Good. We put 2 meter sideband in the pickup. We made a bunch of contacts. The fellas are on early in the morning, like around 8 o'clock, and on around 1:44. .205 roughly. You'll catch a bunch of guys around the neighborhood up here in Connecticut. N1SAG.
N1SAG, what part of Connecticut? N1UIR.
Well, I'm here next to the Neapog Reservoir.
Oh, I know that area. My buddy lives in Griswold, Stan. He used to be linesman in Griswold and stuff. Know the area well. Hunted Neapog State Forest and the reservoir property up there.
Yeah, I'm just on the west end of the reservoir. If you're looking at a compass on the map, west end of the reservoir, and you'll see South Road. I'm only about a quarter mile up South Road, and then I'm on Den, DEN. Can't miss it.
And I'm back.
Oh my God, are you all right? Should we, call the doctor or something?
I'm only 2 feet tall now.
I was really starting to get worried.
That fresh lettuce went through me like you-know-what in a goose.
You just missed a half-hour dissertation on a new antenna design.
What was that about antenna design?
You just missed a half-hour dissertation about a new antenna design.
Well, that's okay. I'm sure there must be one other person on the earth that can come up with a good antenna design.
Hey, do you know where Stonehill Reservoir is?
No. Where is it at?
Well, it's in Griswold.
Yeah, I haven't been around Griswold too much. Griswold's like, I don't even know. I have to look on the map. Where's Griswold?
Just south of Plainfield on 395.
Okay, yeah, I've only been there once or twice. Yeah, no, I'm right next to. I'm in New Hartford. The town is New Hartford, and the suburb here is Neapog. And the Neapog, we're you know where Torrington is in Avon, that area over.
Oh, you're up that part of Neapog. I was thinking of Patchogue. All right, yeah, I know where you are. My cousin lives up in Colebrook. He's at 1380.
Okay, yeah. Is he a ham?
Yes, he is. He's a new ham. He has his general. He's got VHF stuff up and HF stuff up. Yep, he's a ham.
Does he do anything on 6 meters?
No, not a lot, though. He's unfortunately fighting blood cancer.
That's not good.
Ew. Is it in the bone marrow or just in the blood?
Nope, it's in the bones. Not good. He does chemo every 2 months.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
No. Retired, and a month after retirement found out he had blood cancer.
Doesn't that suck?
Yes, sir. One of the nicest guys you'd ever meet, and that's what happens.
I think retirement is wasted on old people. I think you should be able to retire when you're young and work when you get older.
Brother died of the same damn thing.
Well, I found out something interesting today. I think it was today, about Spock.
Oh?
Spock, Star Trek?
Yeah.
Well, he died, and I always wondered why he died, because he was always thin and he looked in really, really good shape. And he died of COPD because he was a heavy, heavy smoker.
And a pole puffer.
Well, anybody who smokes like that, 3 packs a day for 40 years, you're certainly going to pay a horrible price. So where's Randy? Is he still eating dinner?
Ray, I see you talked to a friend of mine last night on 160 out in Chicago. John, KB1IR.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember talking to somebody in Chicago that had a really good signal too.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. He'll be back in Southington for the weekend, I guess. He's been out there for a month, but yeah, he's got a 300-foot depth set up in his motel room.
Right, and he does a very good job with that too. I've talked to him a couple times before. That antenna really works good.
Yeah, the crazy thing is it loads up great on 40, loads up great on 160, but big on 80.
Well, yeah, was he running coax or open wire?
I have no idea what he's running in his, he sent me emails, I have pictures, I guess I could look and see. I think he's coax feeding it, but I'm not sure. He may be running 450 ohm with the 4-to-1 that's in the tuner, I don't know.
Well, yeah, you'd have to run open wire feed line with an antenna. Like, you can't run coax. I was talking to somebody just the other day on the local repeater, and they were talking buying this in coax, and I said, look, I don't care who you talk to. I said, if anybody's telling you they can run coax cable on anything, they're just wrong. You got to build your own. This guy's going out and buying another antenna, buying a store-bought. And I said, no, never buy a store-bought antenna. Build your own. Use world-famous Toad Harbor feed line and go right directly to the tuner, and then it'll work good. But yeah, you can't run a full wavelength long antenna on 80 with coax, because then the SWR is 80 or 100 to 1 on the line, and the coax has 30 or 30 dB of loss. So I don't know if he's running coax or not, but then you got to be able to run the right length feed line. You got to make a few adjustments here and there. Anyway, N1 DBL.
Hey, I have a video of him talking to you last night, and it's recorded on 160. He sent me the email. He goes, I got a short. It says right here. Just talked to someone you know, Ray, N1DBL on 1930 from Chicago at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. He gave me a 5.9 plus with 100 watts. And let's see, it says he made a short video you can listen to. And I just opened this, and it's the video. I can hear your voice, and you sound pretty good back to him.
I'm back, KB2ZVP.
Yeah, so anyway, back to the blacklist. And so what happens in that episode, the really, really good one, is that I tell you, I saw the best blacklist I ever saw, and Mike agrees it was the best. And that was it's one of the four. There's 4 new ones that are out from this season, the 4, and it's the 3rd one in the series. And I think the 5th one is going to be tomorrow night. No, it'll be Friday night. But the 3rd one, you got to watch. It is just incredible.
So, I was just on. What season are they in?
Oh, who knows? I don't know. But I'll tell you what. They're just getting. I swear that show just keeps on getting better. Those actors are great. Just remember, when you watch this 3rd episode. Now, don't forget, it's the new season, the one that's out right now. 1, 2, 3, the 3rd one. I'm gonna watch the 4th one tonight, and then tomorrow will be the 5th one. But the 3rd one. Just see what Red does to the Mossad guy. I'm going to do that to Mark.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. We can get it. We have it. We had it on season 6, but we didn't watch any of it.
Well, you're way behind. But it's all I can say is it's just really good. I love Megan Boone. I'll tell you what, she's just one of those girls. See, now she's not really pretty, but she's just like the girl next door. She is just so hot.
Who is she?
Liz.
Liz? Oh, Liz. Yeah, she's all right.
Well, like I said, she's not beautiful, but she's just, what a girlfriend she would make. Boy, I'd be really happy with her.
She's got no butt.
Well, she doesn't need a butt. Why does she need a butt? She's got that nice thin body with that. Oh, my God. She's just, she's hot.
I guess.
Hey, Ray, I guess I'm looking up your call. You don't have an email address, I guess.
You're 100% right. I do not own a computer.
Okay. But I like what your manager put up there. We're making amateur radio great again with Trump and holding the radio. That's pretty good. He's got you a nice sight IQ, I said.
I have no idea who that man is.
I bet you he's a really bad guy.
Probably.
It must be one of you guys. KB2ZBP.
Oh, that guy. That guy is a first-class AH.
Very bad. Well, N1DBL says page managed by KB2ZBP.
How did you let that happen, Ray?
Well, I don't know. You know, between Gary and Kenny, my heart is broken.
I'm surprised that guy's still out of jail.
Who are you talking about?
That guy managing your page.
Oh, yeah.
Making ham radio great again, one station at a time.
You should look up, who's that in there you're talking with? I don't even know who you are. Who are you?
I don't know, but I'm talking about Dave, because Dave signaled. Dave, you sure your ramp's on? You sure it's putting out power? You need a new 3500Z or something? You're pretty weak here.
I blew up the tubes. No, Dave's good. The other guy, the person that was just talking, I'm sorry I don't know your name.
Name is Steve. I'm in Connecticut, Southington, N1UIR. By the way, Ray, you see the signal on the meter in the video. You're 20 over S9 out in Chicago on his ZEP, but I don't know if it's coax fed or if I'm thinking it goes to the tuner with balanced line. He's running 450 ohm ladder line to it.
Yeah, probably. It would certainly work better. Dave, were you running your amp at first because your signal was 10 and then it was almost 30?
Evening, Randy.
I've been running the amp, but I'm on a different antenna. Hold on, let me switch.
No, I'm talking to Dave.
Oh, sorry.
Hello, Marcus.
It's Marcus Caparadius. No, I forgot to turn the amp on. You're right.
Okay, yeah, what a difference.
It's so hard to get an edge in Wordwise anymore now.
Yeah,
well, not if you got a good signal.
The picture in here goes to the back of the tuner.
Okay. You know, Mark. Now I'm gonna now that there is absolutely no question whatsoever about you listening to me about antennas. I got to do a little bit more study on the subject, but I think using a braided wire for an antenna is a big mistake. We'll have to ask the chief engineer, but I'm pretty sure that braided wire is not a good thing to use for an antenna.
I think it's going to cause a lot of static.
Oh, get right away.
Solid wire is the way to go.
Well, that's the only reason I put it up, because I thought it was solid wire, and when I found out it wasn't solid wire, I mean, I was kind of like already, the plane had left the landing strip and I was past the point of no return, and all right, put it up.
I was reading some article in UST about, it was more for grounds. We don't use, any kind of a braided wire for a ground. But I'm pretty sure I've seen that for antennas also. I kind of suspect solid wire is probably better for an antenna, but whatever.
So how many dB down am I going to be compared from braided to solid?
Well, I have the answer for that. Because when we decided you had a steel antenna, the calculation showed you were going to be about 3 dB down, which you didn't even believe, by the way. Now, don't sit here and try to tell us that you believe that, because you were very, very skeptical about that. And then I read an article in QST in the last month or two about steel in RF systems and stuff, and I had come to the conclusion, I think you're going to, do you remember, did you conveniently forget this, or do you remember that I kept on saying, no, I think you're going to gain more than 3 dB. I think you're going to gain like 5 or 6 dB. And do you remember me saying that? And then, of course, you gain 10 dB.
No, I only gained 10 dB because, the antenna likes you, Ray.
No, because you never use steel, any kind of steel, anything, screws, nuts, bolts, anything in an RF circuit. You don't use ferrous material in an RF circuit. So that's that.
All right. Well, we're going to give some time to Randy now because he hasn't had much time on the net tonight, and he just got in here, so we're not going to harp on this subject. But you can do that research and get that information back to me then when you get the real heads up on solid compared to braided. Over to net control and 3 or more.
Ray, did Mark just put you in your place?
I don't think so. I don't think Mark can put me in my place.
Anyway, just having some fun. Good evening, everybody. I'm not sure. I heard Dave and Mark and this guy Steve, who keeps doubling with everybody, by the way, Steve, and Ray, and who else is there? Is Carl still here?
WA3FPN.
Wow, good Mike's in here early.
M2KF.
And there's Chris.
Hey, there's a Rainbow Bunker.
Directly from the Rainbow Bunker in sunny Ithaca. Good evening, all.
What's new and exciting, Chris?
Well, I just thought I'd check in and sit back and listen. Deer fencing. Neighbor put up a deer fence to beat the band. 6x6-inch post set 4 feet in the church with concrete at the bottom. To hold back the masses of reindeer that will be coming soon. KM2KM.
Holy cow. And the lightning just got stronger.
Randy, I gather you just came in, so back to you.
Yeah, I was in earlier, but I went out and had dinner, and now I'm back. So good to hear you, Chris. Good to hear everybody. It's not terribly noisy here at the minute right now at Toad Harbor headquarters.
Oh, it's quiet here. No clashes.
Well, I'm sure your receiver with no preamp on is down like 6 dB from a high-performance receiver, so you probably have less lightning noise.
Wait a minute. If it's high performance, it should not. It should shut that stuff out too, no?
No.
Okay, so you've got a super sensitive receiver, and your ears are taking a beating.
No. The Kenwood has the super sensitive receiver.
Well, this is what, a 1995 Ten-Tec Delta 2.
Surprised you can even hear us.
Yeah, so am I.
Well, I haven't looked at the S-meter, but it must be moving.
Just listen. You know if it's working if I'm stronger than Ray. That's all the testing you got to do, Chris.
Okay, Ray. Give me Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Okay, Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Okay. No, the lamb doesn't compare with the mutton.
Yeah, what are you guys, a couple streets apart?
Oh, no, Randy's way up the road.
Yeah, I'm like, it takes me a few hours to get to Chris's house.
The slow arrival time is because of the security at the bunker doors.
So good, Mike. Did you ever find out how much it should charge to replace the filter in a BMW Z3?
No, but did you ever look at the engine spec plate on the side of your block?
No, I don't even know where it is.
Well, it should be on the left side, about 3/4 of the way back, right at the bottom where the oil pan bolts on.
Okay, so there's an engine plate there, and will that tell you which engine's in there?
Yeah, it should. There should be some numbers on there. If you can get the numbers off, then we can go from there.
Yeah, if I could. Yeah, I'd probably have to put it up on the lift to do that, right?
I don't know that. There may be some pipes there in a way. You may be able to see it. I mean, the picture that I have off of All Data, they don't have the exhaust manifold on or the pipe there, but there may be enough room there that you can see it.
So it's on the driver's side, 3/4 of the way back down by the oil pan.
Yeah, it's like a square. It's hard to tell from the picture, but it's going to be like a rectangular casting, probably with it stamped in there.
Oh, it's cast into the block?
Well, I'm thinking it's stamped into the block.
Okay, well, if we put the car up on a lift, I'll try to get that number. Like I said, that seems awful fast to me to be 185 horsepower.
You may be able to see it, but you might be able to see it better just looking under the hood.
Well, that's what I'm going to try to do. I didn't know where it was.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Last night I didn't have it in cross. I had it in the other function, which means I could hear you, but I couldn't transmit.
You mean to tell me you still need heat?
I still need... Oh, no, well, no, but yes.
We have heat on here, for sure.
Yeah, no, my heat was running last night. No, take it back. The heat was running last night. And I have the window open here because the radio room was getting pretty warm. And I'm using the summertime amp too.
I'm using the all-season Toad Harbor original amp, N1SAG.
Well, you know, Dave, really, you should have never broken up the package. I happen to have the original transceiver that goes with that amp, and I could let you have it at a bargain of a price.
Don't need it.
Yeah, that's really a great package.
Yeah, Randy, can you believe it? I mean, would you break up that package?
Well, how do I say yes or no to that? Because I already did. But yeah, that's the if you're collecting Toad Harbor memorabilia, that's the package to have right there.
No, the most valuable Toad Harbor memorabilia is the original Toad Harbor AL82. And I got to say, Randy, the thing has been running just fine. Runs really good.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that amp. Nothing that a new tube wouldn't help. That those tubes probably there's no probably about it. They were run pretty hard. So yeah. I mean, if that thing keeps, what's going to go wrong? You got the right power supply. You got the right capacitors. The relay's all rebuilt. I mean, you got a good solid amp there.
I was thinking, Randy, if you bought one of those Palstar kilowatt solid state amps, you could drive your big amp with the Palstar.
I got Devon's too. I got Devon's AL82 sitting right next to me.
Why would I need to run the big amp off the Palstar?
Well, that's what they do on 11.
How do you know?
Well, they do that all the time. I know this idiot guy over here he was running an SB220 into his Henry 3. He was running a pair of 3500s into a pair of 3500s, and he finally gave up because he burned out the tube so many times.
Surprised he didn't burn out the input circuit. Idiot.
That's a C beer for you.
Idiot. Why would anybody do that anyway? That doesn't sound right.
Makes perfect sense. One amp puts out 800 watts, the other amp puts out 1,000 watts, so that means you're going to get 1,800 watts.
Who did the math on that?
Well, you have to remember, 11-meter people aren't too bright.
Nobody ever talked about grid overload with them?
Yeah, what the hell's that?
I have to believe that's exactly what was going on because he's right. They're like that.
You're right.
So, Ray, you're absolutely correct on the solid wire versus the braided on the antennas, because I have the two up, and I tested them. Matter of fact, I even tested them this morning on the 40-meter net.
Well, I thought I read somewhere that you're not supposed to use braided wire on an antenna wire.
You know, I was on a battleship somewhere. I forgot which one it was, but I think it was, I can't even remember. It was just up there in Rhode Island or Massachusetts, I don't know. And they had the big dipoles they had off of their towers were braided copper, big fat braided copper wires. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I've got two G5s up, identical. So I've got 12 feet of pipe going through my tower at 45 feet. On the front, there's a pulley. On the back, there's a pulley. On the front is a store-bought MFJ G5RV, which has copper-clad steel ladder line and copper-clad steel braided wire for the antenna wires. On the back is a homemade G5RV, same size, but it's solid copper ladder line and solid number 12 copper wires, and they're both inverted V's, and they're tied off to the same place 10 feet apart, just like they are up on the tower. And I checked the signals this morning on a guy out, because they're east-west. They're both east-west. And I checked out a guy on the net on 40 this morning, and he was 5.7 on the MFJ antenna. I switched over to the other homemade G5, and he was 5.9 plus 5. And the only difference is same coax, same length, same brand, everything's the same except the antennas. They're the same height, they're parallel to each other, and the wire that is made from solid copper ladder line and solid copper wire outperforms in receive the MFJ junk.
Wow, you gotta watch out what you buy today. Home-built antennas, store-bought antennas. But yeah, that battleship, I can't remember. I think it might have been like it was a World War II battleship, and it's down off the coast of Massachusetts, maybe. I don't know where we went. We went there with Boy Scouts when my kids were little, and I was looking at the communications wire coming off of their towers, and it was braided copper cable, like Christ, had to be at least a 1 inch ID, 1 inch, it was, OD, it was all of that. It was big, heavy stuff. Probably maybe had a steel cable in it, I don't know.
Battleship, Massachusetts, Fall River, Mass.
That's the one, Bruce. Thank you for that, N1SAG. Hello, Bruce.
KD1 Mountain Whiskey, good evening.
Now, Bruce, did you ever go on that and look at those big, they look like dipoles, no?
That was in the Boy Scouts when I went on that. I can't remember. I got to go back there. It's just 20 miles up the road from me. They got a couple of submarines there, too.
I think I don't know, went to see a submarine once. I think I saw the Nautilus. Is that there, too?
The Nautilus, didn't that sink?
No, the Nautilus was the first one they ever built. The one that sank was the Thresher.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I thought they might have had it might be a German U-boat they have there. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, you're right. There is a German U-boat. I never saw that. There is one somewhere up there. I think they found that up in the Bay of Fundy or somewhere up around Nova Scotia, and I forgot, it was captured or whatever. I don't know. I saw something about that in the History Channel, and then it wound up it's on display down there. I think it's all original too. I got to go see that. That's got to be interesting.
I heard that some local hams rehabilitated the radio shack on the ship, and I think there's some, all original military Navy stuff, and evidently it's an active transceiver site, for people to use, I guess, if you're in the know or know somebody.
That'd be crazy. Now, during World War II, the Germans used a 10-meter band, AM, I believe, for their coordination between their ground troops and their aviators. As far as I remember, when they did their Blitzkrieg thing, that's how they were so successful. They were all on the same band, as far as I know, N1SAG.
I don't know, but I would think they'd have to be on the same band to communicate with each other.
Well, what I mean is they used this, that band, and they used it for everything, for their all their ground, and they, their aircraft and their ground all use the same frequency basically, so they could, communicate and coordinate their attacks and whatever. And I read that years ago in this, I don't know if it was CQ or QST. It might have been CQ magazine. And during World War II, we couldn't operate on 10 meters. We had, the American ham community had all kinds of restrictions. I don't even know if we could operate at all. Maybe somebody out there might know about that, N1SAG.
I have a question. When my radio goes to screensaver, it flips through the pictures of an 820, 830, 850, and 870, and it just rotates through those. How can I change it to 746, 756 Pro 3, 7600, and 7610? How do I do that?
I don't know, but for the sake of this conversation, you should be changing between a German U-boat, a destroyer, U.S., and some Krauts operating on 10 meters.
The Germans were beaten soundly.
That radio,
they're
you
gone.
can download anything you want. You can make those pictures anything you want. So if you really wanted to do that, you could.
Right, but how do you do it?
Hi, Randy. Yeah, well, first of all, you got to hook it to your computer. Start with that.
Yeah, okay. So then you could do it, though. So I could put my own pictures in there. I think tell you how to do it.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
The Nautilus is in Groton.
Yeah. That's where I saw that. We went and saw the Alexandria launched out of the Groton subbase. That's where it worked. Years ago, my father-in-law took myself and my two sons, had some kind of special tickets, and we went to that thing. And when they blew that horn, when they launched it, they smashed the champagne on it and let it go into the water. That horn was loud, I'll tell you what. But that base was so secure. There were all these guys with black uniforms. I mean, black, no markings, black holsters, black guns, machine guns, on the roof, everywhere. Rooftops with guns and everything. And you stayed in a line, and on either side of the line, the people passing into the place, you had security on both sides with machine guns and black uniforms, black shiny boots, and that's quite a place, that Groton subbase, N1SAG.
What year was that?
My kids were little, probably right around the time I first ran into you, Randy. Over.
1990 or so, 91, 92?
Yeah, the submarine was the Alexandria. I never heard about it. That's the last time I ever heard it, even the name mentioned. Over.
Where is it right now, Dave? Look on your computer. See where it's hiding.
Oh yeah, launched June 23rd, 1990.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, and I haven't heard about it. It's got to be some top secret towed camp. The Russians.
What was I going to say today? I was going to say something about what happened on the news. Listening to Rush, it sounds like there's a lot. Oh, look at that. Okay. So it sounds like there's a lot of Democrats turning on each other, huh?
What a coincidence.
You know what what happens when the wolves get hungry and there's nothing to eat.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be interesting, I think. Is N1DU in here tonight? Is Mark in here?
I don't know, but Bruce, I don't know if you're still listening, but ever since I didn't get that guy's name, probably I shouldn't get it, but ever since you gave us that gave me anyway, I don't know if anybody else was paying attention, but you shot the Big Bang Theory all to hell, and now I don't know where I came from.
Oh, you lost your basis for existence.
I know, I'm like confused now. I'm like disorientated.
Yeah, that guy's name is Pierre Robitaille, I believe. Yeah, interesting guy.
Dave, they traced the whereabouts of the Alexandria with a lot of question marks up until April of this year, which is puts it somewhere in Point Loma, which is San Diego base.
Okay, wow. In other words, you followed it from 1990 to now?
Yeah, they've got a running history of it, if you believe what you read.
Oh, Roger, yeah, well, that's interesting, yeah. I'll bet you it's been, it was a nuke sub, big thing, big. You don't realize, you see them things fishy in the water, but when you see it on the dry dock, when they slip that thing off into the bay like that, and the splash, and they're standing on it while they're slipped. The crew was standing on the deck. I couldn't believe it.
362 feet long and 33 feet beam.
Wow, what's it weigh?
A couple pounds.
Yeah.
Here's my question. That thing's been in the water for 20 years. How do they keep it from rusting?
How do you think, Ray?
I don't know, but I don't see them take those out every year and scrape all the barnacles off and clean them, so they must have some secret coating they put on them.
No, that's exactly what they do. They go to sea for 6 months a year, and then they come back and spend 3 months getting the barnacles, and, they go so fast, no barnacles to stick to them, but, they get refurbed every year or so.
Oh, they do actually refurb them, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that either. I thought they had some kind of a super cool coating that, stuff. I mean, I guess anything would stick to it if it was sitting stagnant. But like Randy said, they're zipping along through the water a pretty good clip most times, I think.
Yeah. What any idea how fast?
There's copper in the paint that's applied to the base of the ship, and the copper does not allow the barnacles to grow as fast. So that's somewhat of a help.
Marcus Caparatius.
And now it's Mark Caparantenius.
He scolded me for calling him Stainless Steeliadius.
And now he's Caparanteniadius or something. And by the way, I want you all to know that I talked to Mark on a telephone. It was a conversation that I could hear him very well, and he could hear me, I assume, very well. And he doesn't sound anything like this. He doesn't have that Gomer Pyle sound.
Oh, my God.
Well, I always knew it was the radio. I mean, come on. If he was on one of these new modern radios, he'd sound fabulous.
But I'd never sound as good as Ray.
No, you can't because you're not running a 4 kilohertz wide bandwidth. Neither am I. I'm running 3400, but that extra 500 makes a big difference.
I don't even know what I'm running.
You're running 2900.
Well, that's just enough.
Just barely.
Just barely enough.
That's a good question. Hey Ray, what do you see W2KRY coming across the airwaves? How wide is this thing?
It's 3 kc.
Yeah, it's narrow. It's sharp.
I guess that works, right?
You know, that's where the readability is right there, buddy. You're 100% right.
Works for me.
Where's Tom? KC3, KXB, N1 DVL. Where are you, Tom?
Hot tub.
No, the hot tub's broken.
Oh, no.
It's been broken all winter.
What's occupying his time, then?
He won't tell us.
Oh, now it's probably the insurance adjuster.
That's right. I'll bet you that's exactly what's going on. They're probably sitting there drinking. He's going to make a little killing on his insurance and buy himself a new Kenwood, I'm sure.
He's a pretty sharp cookie. I'll bet that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, he's no dummy, no doubt about that.
Did he commit to the summit yet?
No, but he is. He's bringing his. I think he's like. You know what, Randy? I think he's like 65 or 70% there.
Oh, we got to get him the rest of the way.
Oh, we'll get him. Don't you worry.
He'd be a hoot.
How can you not want to come out and hang out with us?
If he doesn't, we should go over and see him.
Yeah, it'll be the last time he doesn't make it to a summit, right? Go over there and stay there for like 3 days.
Can 23 people get into the hot tub?
The hot tub was broke.
Oh, we just jump in the pool. He's got the heated pool, don't forget.
Oh, that's right. Well, we'll tell when he comes in tonight, tell him to get the heat going on that pool. We wanted it 80 degrees by the June 15th.
That tornado they did and probably sucked all the water out of the pool.
I'll tell you, the most impressive heater I've ever seen for a pool was that one at Maureen's brother's place. That his 5,200 foot cottage up in Lake George, and they had that built-in pool. And he said, it was kind of a challenge to me, right? He says, well, tell Randy if he can figure out how to get the heater to work, he can turn that on. And we went away for a couple of hours, and that heater adjusted that pool temperature like 4 or 5 degrees in just a few hours. It was a built-in pool, big pool. Huh? Oh, talking to the cat. But anyway, it's got this double burner natural gas heater, and it sounds like a jet engine running.
It must, so that they can heat the water that fast.
You stand on the output of one of those jets, and it was incredible how hot it is. I mean, it's like hot shower water coming out of the thing.
The Hillbilly pool heater is a cast iron radiator in a bonfire, and you plumb it up to your pump and circulator into your pool. And the guy did it, and it worked great. I'll tell you, Brandy, the Hillbilly pool heater, a guy described it to me. I couldn't believe what he was saying. And my buddy said, oh, yeah, we saw it working. He builds the bonfire, he throws the radiator in the bonfire, builds the fire over it, and it's plumbed up with copper back to the pump house, and he heats his pool. It only takes, I think it was an above ground pool, so it couldn't have been very big, but it didn't take him very long, maybe an hour or so, to warm the water up.
Yeah, we built them with coils of copper above a wood stove, and that's worked out pretty good. And I'll tell you what works pretty good too is you take the line that from the pump itself, and it goes back into the pool, and you put a T on it with two valves, and you take one of those lines and you run it up on the roof of a building or a shed roof or something with a black plastic on it, and you run a zigzag line, a copper line back and forth on that, and you have it come back to the pool. And you control the valves, so you feel the hot water, you feel the water coming back off the roof, and you open that one up enough till it's just like really nice and warm. And if it's a really hot day, you can give that one more flow, and if it's not as hot of a day, you give it less flow. But overall, you can heat the pool up pretty well like that.
The guy that lived next door to me in Hamden back in the 80s, he was an engineer down at one of those jet engine places down there, United Technologies or whatever, and he built his own heater. And what it was maybe a 30-foot long, 45-degree angle incline made out of just 2x4s, wood and black plywood. And then he covered the ply with black shingles, and he had that rubber hose, probably, I think it was four or five or six pieces of rubber hose, and it just zigzagged back and forth over that whole thing. And he had the pump pumping right through it, and that would heat his whole pool like nothing. And he had a solar cover on the thing, and that kept that pool warm a month on both sides of when you normally could heat a pool.
Around here, you always see the farmer's heater, which is they build a frame and run a big coil of the black ABS around, spray everything flat black, and tilt it up against the fence or something.
Yeah, all that works well. The key is to control the flow so you get good hot water, even if you don't get a lot of it, every minute. As long as that water that's coming is always hot, you're going to get good performance.
I'll bet you that doesn't make one bit of difference, because let's say you have that solar heater there, and let's say you control the flow and you got water going in one end at 60 and coming out at 80 on the other end, okay, and that's the best you can do. Now, if you turn the thing wide open, the water going in is going to be 60, and instead of 80 on the other end, it might only be 66 or 65, but it's still putting the energy into the pool.
Yeah, but okay, once you reach 65, it doesn't go higher than that. So if you keep it going at 80, you have the ability to keep climbing.
No, I don't agree with you, because what happens is the inlet temperature is 60, the outlet temperature is 65. So eventually the pool's 65 and the inlet temperature is 65 and the output is 72. And it'll just keep on climbing and climbing until it catches up. I think I wouldn't be surprised if the higher flow gives you more heat energy into the water.
It's not the higher flow. It is the differential. The higher the differential in temperature, the colder the water against the hot collector, the more BTUs you can transfer to the flow of the water.
Thank you, Bruce.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm really surprised about that, because you would think that the other way around is putting the same amount of heat into it. It's just that at a smaller differential.
No, well, the thing is, if you put a cold surface against a hot surface, it's going to transfer the heat from the hot surface to the cold surface quicker. So, Ray, you're kind of correct in that. You flow it faster, although it won't add for the comfort. I think Randy was talking about the comfort, where you got a nice hot thing coming in if you're sitting in the water. But if you're trying to scavenge BTUs, you want to flow it quicker and keep the flow of water cooler.
Well, that's what I said, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think either way, in the end, you're going to end up with the same amount of heat in the pool. I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference, and you'd probably come out ahead. That's what we need. We need a thermodynamicist here. Who's a thermodynamicist?
I've done a lot of work with thermodynamics, but my stepson just built a cowboy hot tub, and he got a stock tank from Tractor Supply, 150 gallon, and he bought a cowboy hot tub heater, which is a stainless steel firebox with a chimney and a heat exchanger around the chimney, and you drop the whole firebox right into the water. So, and it's a downdraft wood burning stove that's buried in the water. It's amazing how well that thing works. You're sitting right in the pool with the fire burning inside the stainless steel box.
Jeez, I'm glad it's not wired for 480 volts.
No, it's no electricity. It's just, gravity flow.
That's like the hillbilly pool heater.
It's a lot like it.
But this is cowboy.
Yeah.
I was just catching a fast glimpse of Fox News over the last couple of days. And mark my words, everybody, a lot of people are going to jail over this trying to screw Trump.
Sure seems that way.
Couldn't happen to a finer group of people.
Well, Hannity today, I was listening to the Hannity, it was the Hannity show, and he said that the New York Times, might have even been today, published an article written by some journalist who was associated with the New York Times, but the Times published it, that said that with all the things that are coming out, that Fox News was right all along.
Oh, my God. The handwriting's on the wall. If the New York Times said that, then oh, my God.
The failing New York Times?
Yeah, exactly. But if the New York Times says that, then there's going to be a lot of people. Comey's got to go to jail. Strzok's got to go to jail. Brennan's got to go to jail. And Clinton's got to go to jail. And maybe even Obama's got to go to jail. That would be... I don't know if they'd ever put an ex-president in jail. But I'm sure it goes right to him.
Clapper, Lynch, even Michelle, even their kids should go to jail.
No, not their kids. You don't put the kids in jail. But like, what do you call it? Even Bill Clinton probably won't go to jail. But I'll bet you Hillary Clinton is due to go to jail.
She'll go to that prison that Martha Stewart went to, and they just they do decoupage and sewing circles and things like that, all flower arrangements, and all these politicians, they don't go to jail. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, again, you're being naive. Now listen careful, everybody. I've said this 100 times. Here's 101. They messed with the wrong president.
Well, look, I'm just saying, look, they all should go to jail. They're all freaking crooks. How many of them you ever saw that were right?
True, but the overthrow, this was in fact, and this is where the Fox News has been correct. This was the attempted overthrow of a duly elected president. And if you see it any other way, you're an idiot.
Oh, no. I agree with you 100%. I knew that from day one when it all started. When they ever got Mueller to do that thing, listen, this cost, and who knows what the right price is. I've heard price range between $30 and $40 million for that Mueller probe. You get done spending that kind of tax dollars, the guy comes out and says, hey, can't find nothing on him, he's clean. And then the left comes through and says, oh, he's no good now. The Barr's no good. They're all a bunch of criminals. They're all in collusion with each other, with Trump. You know, you can see what's going on. They're all trying to save their asses one by one. And you're right, Ray, you know, but I'm going to tell you right now, I can't see any of them going to jail because, you know, I just don't see it. Plus, it's taken so long. By the time, they got so much time before, and then they can't charge him anymore. That's what happened to Clapper. Clapper would have been in jail for lying to Congress. He would have been in jail. But what's that term they use over?
No, he lied to Congress, and he's still in range. I'm telling you, they're going to get all of them. And here's the important thing, everybody. Listen very carefully to the world-famous N1DVL. This is why Trump has to be elected on the next term, because the last 4 years, when he doesn't have to run for re-election, then he can really, really lower the hammer on these people, and he doesn't have to worry about anything after that. And that's when that's when those people will really start going to jail. You watch. You just watched. I'm telling you, they messed with the wrong guy.
I totally agree. There's no choice. We all have to get out and vote. Don't wait for it. I mean, everybody you know, you gotta, if they need a ride, bring them. The Democrats are gonna pull out all stops to stop them. You just can't let that happen.
Well, they're all soiling their diapers now with Barr in there as Attorney General. I know that for a fact.
Yep, because he's honest and they can't do a thing about him. They got nothing on him. They can't get rid of him. Look at Obama had his guy in there. What's his name? Eric Holder. He was the worst scumbag that ever was in that office. And Eric Holder is one guy who should go to jail for sure, for absolutely sure.
Fast and Furious.
It's already been proven he's killed people.
Yeah, Eric Holder for sure. He's just bad news.
Hey, Bruce.
KD1MW.
W2KRY. I think you were on the right track. It all depends on the differential. What your situation doesn't take into consideration is the heat loss, depending on how fast it heats up, which is up to convection. So, yeah, you were on the right track.
My engineering skills tell me that the faster the water runs through, the more heat goes into the pool.
All depends on what?
Depends on the volume. The speed. I guess speed is volume. Yeah.
Yeah, the volume. The more volume you get through there, the hotter the pool water is going to get.
And one other thing I'll throw into the mix. If let's say it's a 3/4 inch diameter or 1 inch diameter poly pipe laying on the roof. If you're running the water slow, you get laminar flow inside the pipe, which means that the outer surface is hotter and it's not pulling as much heat away from the surface it's collecting the heat from. If you run the water faster, then you get turbulent flow inside the pipe. You break up that laminar flow, you get turbulent flow, so the water in the pipe is all homogeneous. It's all the same temperature, and it will work more efficiently at extracting the heat off the surface. So there's another reason for a little faster flow. Ideally, you move it as fast as you need to move it so that the flow breaks up and becomes turbulent inside the pipe.
Okay, so here's the last technical question I have. What is the best color to extract the most heat out of the sun? I always thought it was flat black, but I've heard that it's kind of a dark green color.
It's green.
All drab, baby.
Is there a particular shade of green?
Are you not hearing Randy?
Olive drab, baby. I can feed the sweat running down my back. Will attest to that.
Yeah, but there must be an exact color that does the best job.
You keep coming up with these miracle answers. It all depends. Are you in the desert? Heat loss, heat gain? Is the wind blowing? What? Are you taking the temperature at the top of the outhouse or the bottom? It all depends.
So if you're a Democrat, and I'm not sure if Chris is still here or not, but if you're a Democrat, right, and guys are talking about busing all the illegal immigrants into your sanctuary city, and the Democrats all of a sudden all start going nuts, and these are the people that you believed in. You believed what they had to say, that they in fact did. This is a sanctuary city, and then all of a sudden these people are all going to come to your place, and then all of a sudden they say, no, we don't you bring those people here. What do you think about your leaders at that time?
Hypocrites.
They may be hypocrites, but the problem is the base of the Democratic Party are so undereducated, and those people just don't have all they do is listen to the parrots. If a parrot's sitting up on the chirp, up on his perch, just parroting things to them, they're not smart enough to make up their own mind.
Ray, did you hear what Maxine Waters was up to?
Oh my God, she is so stupid. I mean, that just goes to show you, let's face it, there's only one reason she's in that office. There's only one reason, because the people that vote for her are as dumber than she is.
She had all the bankers on the carpet wanting to know if they're going to fix all the student loan problems. And the bankers all looked at each other and say, we told her, listen, lady, since 2009 or 2010, the government's been taking care of the student loan debt. We don't do student loans. Can you imagine? She's the head of the, banking commission, or oh my God, what happened to this country?
Well, that's what happens. What is this called? What are we going through in this country where everything has to be, everything has to be fair for everybody? What's that called?
Politically incorrect.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. Everything's got to be so politically correct. They put people that have IQs of 70 or 80 in there as, look at the bartender. What's her name? Cortez. Her and Maxine Waters. Between the two of them, they probably don't come up with 100 IQ.
I agree.
For a second there, Ed, I thought you said parents instead of parents. A good friend of mine from the base for years and years was a member of a Hibernian club in Auburn, and he said he was a dyed-in-the-wool conservative like us, and he used to sit there and listen to these people badmouth their country, and there were two 80-year-old sisters in there who would never, ever, ever vote anything but Democrat. And you know why?
No, why?
Because their daddy told them to.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you believe that? 80 years old and you won't do anything because your daddy told you to. There's your sign.
KHT3, KXP.
There
he is.
How you doing, Tom?
WG2E.
So, Tom, give us a report.
KB2ZVP on the 18th.
Haven't heard anything yet, Ray.
Wait, are you rich yet?
I've never been rich.
Wait, Randy, are we rich?
Right. Well, of course.
This is a very
Randy, that
point.
goes without saying.
Very interesting point.
How
much money would you have to have in order to be rich? Okay? Now, let's go around the circle. What do you think, Randy? I'm going to give it to you, number one. How much money would you have to have in order to be rich?
Well, to quote my 8-year-old son, Uncle Bob, money makes you wealthy. Love makes you rich. Brother, I'm already very rich.
Oh, yeah, I can't disagree with you there. That's true. But now let's go back to money. This is money. How much, in other words, How much money would you have to have in order to really know that you can lead the rest of your life the way you want? How much? Go ahead. You go number one.
Okay, so for me, I've already got this number ahead, and I've had this much money. Then I lost a little more money than that, but $1 million. If at one time I was worth way more than that, but it's not like that nowadays. But if I were to have right now, today, $1 million, I could retire and not have to work anymore and enjoy the rest of my life.
Yes, but do you mean $1 million net worth or $1 million in cash?
In the bank or under the bed, whatever. $1 million under the bed.
Okay. Bruce, now I'm going to go over to you next. How much money would you need to be able to live the rest of your life in the way you want to lead it?
You mean, well, the fact is, factor in age. So you're saying at my current age?
Well, yeah. I guess you have to factor in age, but whatever. We're all fairly close to the same age. So, how much would you have to have in order to feel comfortable?
If I was to factor in age and you know what, you might speculate on inflation. I don't know, you probably need about, if you're two people, you know, husband and wife, you probably would need a couple $1 million if you factor in cost of health care and, you know, normal and running insurances and food, and then you got to entertain yourself, and you got to take it out for 25 years maybe. Probably, I don't know. Just on top of my head, you probably need $1 million a person.
Yeah, I'm inclined to be with you. A couple $1 million is probably what you need. And let's try one more person. Go ahead now, Tom. It's over to you.
Over to me?
How much money would you need to be able to feel comfortable leading the rest of your life?
I'm comfortable with what I have.
How do you like that, Randy? It's worth over $2 million.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Depending on what lifestyle you want and how much you want to be able to purchase, and you know, if you're going to live the same way that you live now, just look at how much you make now, add inflation, and multiply it out to how long you're going to live.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think certainly $1 million, $1 million in savings now. That includes your house is paid for, your cars are paid for, you don't owe any money to anybody, and you got $1 million in cash. That's about the minimum you'd probably need.
I guess I got a long life of work in front of me.
Well, that's the thing. You got to count Social Security, and we're all, as we get older, we're going to have a less and less lavish lifestyle. We're going to do less and less things. We all have our stations built. You know, I mean, look, you're going to fold back a little bit as you get older. You just have to.
Hey, Ray.
I've got the answer. I've got your answer already. You know what it is, right? You're growing the wrong crop.
Hey, Ray, you know what means more to me than money? Is my health.
There you go.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody agrees with that. You can have all the money in the world, and if you don't have your health, it's not worth a dime.
Hey, Randy.
Yes, sir.
Some good medium wave conditions tonight. I'm listening to Power 620 out of Syracuse.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they're duking it out on that frequency with WVMT out of Colchester, Vermont, up by Burlington.
Yeah, I listen to 570 every day. That's the station I listen to here.
To a 1 kilowatt station out of Maine on 870, and they were knocking WWL right out of the park, man. It was like unbelievable.
You know, if you wanted to DF the AM broadcast band, you got to have a nice loop antenna, one of those tuned loop antennas, because you got to get good directivity.
How many more of those do I need?
Well, I don't know, but I have this stereo I bought in 1992. It's a Sony, 100 watt per channel, RMS power, beautiful stereo amplifier, AM, FM. And I brought it up in my bedroom about a year ago, and I try to listen to WHYN at night, which is right here in Springfield. And you can't even hear it. It comes in lousy. You got a 60-cycle hum on it. It was just it gets wiped out. Something on the towers behind me that repeater would identify and wipe it out. I mean, it's just crazy. So when I was going through this house, when I was moving stuff from my mother's house up here, somehow I'm looking through a bunch of stuff. I got my own trash thing here now, so I'm trying to really scour around the house looking for everything to throw away. And I find this AM loop antenna wound on I'd say probably a 7x7 plastic form. And it's got a Lutz wire wound around this plastic, and it comes out just two pig leads coming out, and it says Sony AM broadcast antenna, and it must be the original antenna that came with my thing. So I run upstairs with the damn thing, and I connect it up, and boy, has that worked good. I mean, that thing's only 6 inches. I say it's probably 6 by 6 inches, and it's incredibly directional. So, like the 560, I always had a vicious 60-cycle hum just about cover the station. Now I can adjust the antenna, get 560 perfect and no hum. So, if that little tiny thing can work, I find it inconceivable that a 3 or 4 foot loop antenna done right wouldn't be spectacular.
Yeah, the problem is that there's a lot of noise in the modern home, digital noise. My cable, I got ferrite toroids all over the stuff going in and out of my Comcast cable box, and I got it plugged into a 65 dB the power for it. I got it plugged into a 65 dB isobar filter. So that's the top one. I got a 2-foot air core loop. I have a quad Teletronic U310 fed amplifier in it with like a Jackson Brothers 2-speed vernier for fine tuning. And then I've got a similar amp on a set of ferrite rods, 4 ferrite rods in a bundle. Those are more noise prone, the ferrite rod antennas. Over the air core, but of course they're like considerably smaller. So I got like quite a lot of direction finding stuff. But I got this vertical noise reducing antenna, and I got my dipole is also resonant on 850 kilohertz. I got like a 1.9 to 1 SWR on it, so I wouldn't need much to trim it to pull it in if I wanted to go on the broadcast band. But this little loop antennas that do wonders for you. There's Texan makes a little loop that you can put next to a portable, and it's tunable, and that thing works wonders.
What's the tuning range, Russ, on the loop?
The ones that I built, or the ones that you buy?
Oh, I guess the one that you use predominantly there.
Generally, they tune. The ones that I got will tune from about 500K up to 2 or 3 megs.
Yeah. Have you ever used them much on this band?
Yeah. I mean, they'll work. And you can use them with a phasing box too. You can use them against. You got to use them with a kind of a smaller antenna, but they, you can phase them, get all kinds of crazy stuff out of them. But they work on 160. No problem at all.
Yeah, I built a 3-footer that out of shielded multi-conductor telephone wire, and got it with a little tuning cap. It's pretty good. I have it in the house, and I've heard stations on this band down to Texas with it. Very faint, but I can null out the local noise with it, which is nice.
I just came up with a brilliant idea. Tomorrow, I'm going to take that little loop antenna, and I'm going to connect it on my other antenna jack on this Kenwood and see how good it works.
You'll be amazed.
I bet you that works fabulous, absolutely fabulous.
N1DU.
Hang on a second. I think I smell a Kenwood. Is there another Kenwood in here?
Yes, there is.
Listen to that, Ray.
Wow. What? Yep.
Is this some good, Ray?
Yeah, it sounds better than the other pinched up guys.
Good evening, fellas. Mark, N1DU.
Hello, Marcus.
Yes, so, Randy, I got an extra set. I can send them off to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd appreciate it. I'll be happy to send you the check for the whatever it costs, $1.
Oh, please. Is your address good on QRZ?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
What Kenwood are you running?
This is the 990.
Okay.
And running the RE27 microphone directly into the radio.
Yeah, well, on one of these, that's all you would need. Who else? Somebody was doubling. Was that you, Tom?
Negative. This is WA1QZK. We're on in Middleton. You guys got good signals up here. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I think it's Ron. You're loaded with RF. Tons and tons of RF.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. How's that better?
Nope, it's exactly the same.
So anyway, how you been, Mark? Nice to hear you.
Good. You know, taking a couple of days off, so doing some Kubota work. I want to fill the tires up with some antifreeze. I was going to do windshield washer fluid, but Tractor Supply had a good deal, so I picked up 4 cases. So hopefully, I'm not sure how many gallons did it take for your tires?
Oh, it took about 50 gallons. Just about, I would say 50 to 51 gallons of windshield washer fluid.
So like 25 gallons of tire, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like 26 maybe.
But your tires are slightly bigger than mine.
I'm not sure. I would say if you got 20 gallons, you're 20 gallons each, you're probably going to be right about where you want to be.
So let's say, for instance, I put in, I only bought 24 gallons. Let's say I put in 12 in each and put the rest water. You think that'd be? I mean, my tractor does not stay out in the winter anyways. It's in the heated garage.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't freeze up. I mean, it just depends. If that antifreeze is good for, like, say, 25 degrees below zero, if it's 50-50, you're probably going to never be below that in Massachusetts. You know, if you are, it wouldn't be for very long. But that probably would be just fine.
Hey, how do you get the water into the tires?
It's 50 below. What's that, Ray?
How do you get the water into the tires?
Okay, so that was my next question. I wanted to ask Randy, did you get the special tool for that, or did you do it with a tube? What did you do?
Yeah, it's a valve. It's just it's a valve. It costs $8 or something like that, and you just it's as simple as can be. You hook a pump to it, and it lets the air out as the liquid's going in. I've got the valve. I know I can find that. If you need it, I can send it to you.
No, I ended up buying the actual real tool that they use. So Ray. And, I spent the money for it, but what it is, it's a brass unit that you connect one end of your pump hose to,
and it actually screws onto your valve. You unscrew your stem inside, and it pulls it back so that you fill up the tire with the liquid. And then once you're at the point where you're all done, you push back in the rod and screw in the valve stem back in.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have. That's what I'm talking about. It's a little valve. It's nothing big, but it works great. It takes the air out as the liquid goes in.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll have to send you a picture to see if it's the same one, because I didn't pay $8. My thing was like $80 for this thing.
Oh, no, God, no. I got it from, I forget the name of the place that we get it's my Kubota. But I forgot where I ordered it from, but it was not expensive at all. It's only a small valve, and it just has a push button on it to get it going. You get the air to come out. Thank you. You get the air to come out, and you get the go in. And when you start getting a little spit of the liquid, you know you're full, and you want to make sure you fill it about 80% of liquid and 20% air.
Yeah, I get that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that, because I just did 33 tons of gravel, and there are times where I thought I was going to tip over.
Yeah, do you have a balance box?
No, I had the backhoe on the back. I did not have the backhoe. When I have the backhoe on, it's not so bad. I had actually a scraper, a box scraper on the back, and I think that weighs about 700 pounds, so it's not really, really heavy.
Yeah. Did you do the pressure increase yet, or I guess you did, right?
No, I didn't. Actually, I'm going to do that tomorrow.
You got to let me know how that works out for you. I'm curious as to how you like that.
Oh yeah, I'm curious as hell myself. I've been wanting to do that. A local guy told me that there was a way to increase the PSI in there and give it more lift capacity, and I just got in the mood and I started YouTubing, and I found that you watched that video?
Yeah, it's all super. It's just a bypass valve, pressure relief valve. You're just going to shim it. We do that all the time on trucks and different things, So it's a simple thing to do. Probably a couple of washers would do the same. Well, that's all these things are. It's really just a little washer, a little shim, and you make the ball a little bit tighter before it bypasses.
What are you increasing the pressure on?
On the tractor, on the hydraulics.
Is that a good idea?
Yeah, you can go up a few 100 pounds. It doesn't hurt anything, but you just got to be careful. But most Kubotas come with lower than advertised pressure anyway, because they're pretty careful.
Yeah, right, but that saves you from breaking something, doesn't it?
Well, from what I understood, a lot of they're kind of conservative. Because the B series pretty much are domestic tractors, and people can get themselves in trouble, But if you're pretty familiar with using one, you could go with some extra power, as long as you don't go over 2,000 PSI. Just as long as you stay under that, you're okay. I'm interested to see what mine is set at right from the factory. I know the guy in the video, his was like, I think 1750 or something like that, and he brought it up to just under 2,000. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Do I sound as good as he does, Randy?
No.
Because he really sounds good to me.
Yeah, he sounds great. Mark sounds great.
Ray, what are you using for a mic over there?
RE320.
Okay, and I believe the EQ in that radio, the 890, is the same as this one, right?
I believe so, but I'm not running 4K. I'm running 3,400 hertz wide. When you key up on that upper scope there on the right, what's your bandwidth on transmit?
Wait a minute. Well, hold on. Stand by.
It's about 30. Yeah, it's about 34.
So, Ray.
Yeah, go ahead.
How I was going to say, you didn't let me finish, okay? You don't sound as good. To me, you sound better because you've got more drive and you're more readable. I mean, Mark sounds awesome. He's real wide, but in the noise, there's no comparison between your signal and his signal. You have way more in the center, and it's way more readable. Is there anybody else picking that up?
Yeah, but first of all, you got to be listening on a wide bandwidth. That's the thing.
Well, you asked me a question. I'm listening on 3.6, okay? That's what I'm listening on.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying a lot of these guys are probably listening on 2.4, 2.7, so they're not hearing anything.
Hey, Ray.
Yeah.
I just went to the conventional setting. I have a user setting that had it in, and I usually leave it in the user setting when I use. I have some headphones that I use with the boom mic, and if I do something, so I left it in that. You notice a difference in this setting right here?
I have to hear A, B. Let me hear one, then the other.
That setting's way better, Mark.
Okay, yeah, this is the default conventional setting right from Kenwood. Now I'm going to switch it over to the one I had it on. Okay, so wait a minute. Nope, this isn't it. Hang on. Okay, so this is the adjusted one, my user one setting that I played around with. Mary had a little lamb.
Well, they're both a lot wider, but I think the other one does sound a little bit better.
Yeah, it's more like we're used to hearing. Stronger, louder. More easy to hear through all this noise. Now my noise level has gone up way higher than it was, and the band is just getting more and more noisy right now because we got the storm coming in. We got weather coming in tonight. Okay, I'm going to get out. Good night, 73. Mark, thanks so very much for setting that and thinking about me. I really do appreciate it, and I look forward to having you out here more often. I hope you're in here more nights.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I'll jump in here more often. One other question before you leave. Did you go to that guy, Kathy, and what the heck's his name, Paul or something? The mods, the little mods that he makes?
Yeah, I did. I looked through all that stuff. I thought it was pretty interesting. I do a lot of that stuff. I make my own stuff, but I think that what he's got there, he does a great job. And you know what I liked the best that you sent me was all the manuals. That's really good because that's got all the breakdown of all the components right down to the piston rings. That was really, really special. I appreciate that. I bookmarked that and I got it on a screensaver here.
Yes, I actually printed one, the manual, the service manual for mine at work today. I couldn't believe, I didn't pay attention to how many pages the damn thing was. I think it was like 300 pages, but I came home and my wife's like, what the hell is that? It's like 2 inches of paper. It's actually probably a ream of paper for crying out loud, but at least I got it. It's good to have around.
I was going to do the same thing. We've got a high-speed printer at work tomorrow, and I was going to load the paper into the thing. It's 420-some pages is the manual for the tractor that I have. So I thought, you know what, that's the perfect printer to print. Anytime I've got to print something out that's big like that, I just use the commercial printer we have. We've got this high-speed monster, and I'll go in early in the morning when nobody else is using it, and I can just blast that off in no time.
Okay, I might have doubled to you, but yeah, I got you. That's what I did at work today. But it's nice to have it on. I'm old school, I like it on the paper. It's to me, it's much better.
I agree. What happened? The computers are down, and you got to fix your tractor, right? Or you can't get the powers out, or whatever the reason, and you got to fix something on a tractor. So it's nice to have that in the hard sheets. Okay, you guys have a good night. 73 and Mark. Sorry to get out. I'm getting out so quick after you got in here, but good to hear you, and hopefully you'll be in here tomorrow night. I've got a load of rubble that I'm getting shipped in here, so I'm going to be spreading some stuff around, it would be nice to have just a little bit more lift capacity with the tractor. You're always wishing you had just a bit more, you know. Curling, I can curl like a son of a gun, but it's the lift capacity is what you're lacking. All right, thanks again for everything. KB2ZVP.
All right, 7-3, Randy. Talk to you later. Have a good night.
KC3, KXB, y'all rest easy now.
All right, Tom. Good night, pal.
Good night.
So, Mark, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead. I got one for you, too, regarding the processor, but go ahead.
The same thing with me. So I'm assuming your radio is the same as this one. So press and hold your processor button. Press and hold it, and that brings up your level screen?
Yep.
Okay. Does on your F6 button, does it say effect?
I see effect. It's soft and hard.
Yeah. What's it on now?
It's on soft.
Okay, hit it on hard, because here, I'm going to do it while I'm talking there. That's hard. That's the difference, but I've never heard the difference. This is on hard. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. And that's back to soft. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white. God, you do the same thing.
Okay, so this is on soft. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. And this is hard. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. I could definitely tell the difference on you. It was harsher, on the hard, which is understandable. What about me? I'm going to go back to soft. This is back to soft.
Yeah, it sounds much better on soft, but your room has a lot of echo to it. Does my room have echo when I went on hard?
Yeah, I didn't notice any echo, but yeah, I could see with this room, it's, hardwood floors. They do have some carpeting in, but it definitely has a little echo to it.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to see. I never heard that. So you had a question. Was that the same one?
No, I actually never went into that. Thank you for that. And I just was wondering, on your radio, do you have a processor in and processor out?
Yep, same thing. It's probably exactly the same thing as yours. Yeah, I'm running the. Hang on, I'll go back. I'll tell you exactly what I'm running. I'm running now. Of course, I'm running on soft. The input level is at 60, and the output level is at 30.
Okay, I got them both at 6.
Yeah, well, that's the way I ran it too, and I'll do it while I'm talking to you, and I'll show you. Okay, here it is at 60. There, that's 6 and 6, 60 and 60. So yours might say 6, mine says 60. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. That's with it on 60, and that's back to 30. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow.
For me, very little difference, if any at all, to my ears. I didn't really see that much of a difference.
That's true, but here's where the big difference is. I have look on your screen and look at the opposite sideband. Look at upper sideband, and when you cut back from 60 to 30, the upper sideband's a lot cleaner. You're just splattering less.
Okay. Yeah, I still got a lot to learn. I haven't had the radio that long, and still a lot of stuff I got to learn.
Yeah, so how does Randy know you? Are you from another band or another frequency?
No, Ray, you don't remember me. You remember when, maybe I'll jog your memory a little bit, and you'll recall, about 2 years ago, I believe, I was building this house. I wasn't building, we were building this house, and I was living in my mother's basement, and I hooked up a temporary antenna with I had just picked up a 7600. You remember that?
Yes, I remembered it. If I remember correctly, you're out in the Boston area?
Actually, yeah, I'm in Westport, which is right between New Bedford and Fall River.
Yeah, no, I remember, but I haven't heard you in so long, I just forgot the whole thing.
Yeah, I came on a couple of times not long ago, but briefly. But yeah, I got myself all set up in the shack. I'm comfortable now, and just kind of getting settled in,
Yeah, okay, very good. Well, the radio sounds great.
Yes, you sound good too. How do you like the 890?
Well, I love it. Are you kidding? You gotta love it. I had hang on. I'm having a sneeze attack. You know, I had a 7610. First I had the 7600, which was a great radio. I've got the 7610, which I liked a lot more as far as the display and everything goes. And hang on. And unfortunately, the display, went bad on mine, and I got another one. Then the preamps stopped working, and it's overloaded. I got commercial VHF towers right behind my house, 160 feet away. There's two of them. One's 160 feet, the other's probably 260 feet, and they blew right through the front end of that 7610 piece of junk. So I was done with them after both of them broke anyway. I was just fed up with ICOM, so I bought this thing, and this thing's just way better. I mean, it's just, no comparison. I know people don't like to hear it. They probably don't believe it, but this radio is just a much better radio than a 7610. And by the way, the 7600 is a better radio than the 7610. I'm really down on that 7610. They really screwed up when they built that thing. N1 DVO.
N1 DU. Yeah, I've heard some things about that, and I know pretty much your story on that. The 7600, I had a 5000, a Yaesu 5000 at one point, and then when I was in Fall River living there, and then when I was moved out and we were building a house, I sold it and ended up buying a 7600 because the price went down so much, and then it went down even further. But anyways, I really liked that radio. But I like a big radio, and I like Kenwoods. So I went this one. But now I got a question. Do you have did you get any of the speakers? Do you have an SP990 speaker?
No, I was using a Clear Speech, which really kind of sucks. And then I had I got some stuff from my mother's house, and it's real cheap stereo, just receives FM, and it has two fairly good speakers. They're like 10 inches long by maybe 7 inches wide, and probably 7 inches deep, and they're very low. They're high efficiency because the output of that thing's probably only 5 watts, and I'm using one of those, and that's a big improvement. But okay, so tell me about that speaker there. Does that work good on that radio?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I bought them because generally I figured I can't say it's my last radio, but I would think. It's a big radio, it's an expensive radio, it's a nice radio, and I figured, well, I got the two speakers along with it. And I was thinking that maybe it's my last, but you never say that, right? So I got it, and to me, they're typical speakers that come with a radio, and they're not the greatest, say, But from DX Engineering, they have these kits. I forget the name of the company, but I bought the kit to fill the speakers, and I gotta say, they're really, it's a real nice kit to quiet everything down, the vibration and whatnot, and it made an improvement to them, and it added a hell of a lot of weight to them as well. But I put it in both of them, and I'm using them, and it sounds good.
You said them, so are you using two speakers? Oh yeah, because you got two receivers.
Yes, I'm using two speakers, and what's really nice is when you use both receivers for the same frequency. Like right now, it's like you're in stereo.
Yeah, I did that once when I was running the 7610, doing both receivers on the same frequency, and you're right, it does does give a different sound. But, of course, the 890 only has one receiver, so. But for the difference in price, I'm happy as a clam. It's a great radio. I can't find much wrong with it. The only real complaint I have on the whole radio is it only has a 1.5 watt audio amplifier. I think that was stupid. A very expensive radio like this to have a 1.5 watt amplifier is ridiculous. It should have a 5 watt amplifier in it. But, you get around it easy enough. Just that little stereo thing I was telling you about, I'm going to drag that up here next time I got nothing to do with. It's got an input jack, so I can run the jack from the back, from the headphone jack on this radio to that, and then I can go through that and run the 5-watt amplifier coming out both speakers, so that'll probably cure the problem. But yeah, the radio itself is just beautiful. I'm very happy with it. I can run, like on the 7610, if I put preamp 2 on, well, if I put preamp 1 on, the radio's overloaded. If you put preamp 2 on, which only adds an additional 4 dB a gain, the red light's on solid, and the radio just stops receiving. It's just so overloaded it doesn't even work. Now this radio, to show you how much vast difference there is, preamp 1 on this has got 10 dB a gain, like the 7610, but preamp 2 on this has 22 dB a gain, where the one in the 7610 only has about 14 dB a gain. And I can run preamp 2 right here, right now, and you won't even know it's on. I mean, the signal will be 20 dB stronger, but it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't overload the radio anywhere at all, where the other one would be so overloaded you couldn't even use it. So there's a vast difference between the two rigs.
Nice. Glad to hear that you're happy with it. It's a nice radio. It's a nice looking radio too. And generally speaking, it's like, why do you really need 2 receivers? Although when you do have it and you start using it, it comes in handy. Now this radio, the second receiver is a 590, from what I understand. But I've used it quite often where I'll listen to 2 different frequencies if I'm just in the shack, in the office doing some things and what have you, but for the most part, I generally speaking just use 1 anyways. But yeah, that's a nice, that's a really, really nice radio too. But I've always had my heart set on this radio, and that radio came out and I was like, I almost went that way, but I said, you know what, I always wanted one of these, so I got this one. But anyways, both really, really good radios. And so let me ask you a question now. On that thing, it has a preamp 2 in it?
Yeah, there's preamp 1, preamp 2.
I've only got 1, just preamp on and off.
Yeah, well, this one's got 2. So, you got usually like the one is the high dynamic range with a medium gain, 10 dB. And the second one gives you a lower noise figure with more gain for the higher frequency, where you'd use this preamp 2, you'd use on 6 meters. Or you'd use it on a really quiet, like if you're on 10 meters or 12 meters or something like that. If the band's really, really quiet, you can use preamp 2 when you need that extra gain. Or you're using a very inefficient antenna. But, don't forget, this radio has got a better receiver than yours, too. It's got a much lower phase noise. They put a lot of effort into the synthesizer in this radio. It's got the lowest phase noise of any radio I've ever seen. It's 137 dB down, like 1 hertz from the carrier. And at 10 kilohertz or something, or 100 kilohertz away, it's down 162 dB, which is way better than any of the other radios ever made. So its close-in performance is spectacular. I mean, it's just spectacular. I can do things with this radio on the AM broadcast band. I can't even believe it can do. It can separate those stations. If you play around with it and you sort of get the gist of what's going on, like I'll give you explain this fast because I'm going to go to bed right away. But I got a local station on 1600 kilohertz. It's a 5 kilowatt station. It's about 5 miles away, and it comes in very strong. Now that's on 1600. Okay, on 1590. There's another station that, let's say that one, that 1600 is 40 over 9. The other one's probably an S7 on 1590. Now, here's the amazing thing. 1600 is using very rare. There's only one station on the whole band that does it. They're using 10 kilohertz wide audio. So 1600's audio comes right up against the carrier on 1590. You follow that so far?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So if you're watching it on the scope, the audio is right up against the carrier. and you can't even see the carrier because the 1600 audio is right on it. Yet I can still get 1590. I can move off to the side. I can, move the filters around, and I can hear 1590. And there's times when I can get 1590 perfect with no interference at all from 1600, and that's really remarkable.
Yeah, that's really something. I've yet to really play around with, experiment with the filters on this thing, but that sounds great. All right, Ray, I don't want to hold you. I'm going to get going myself. Nice to catch you in there, and I'll hopefully catch you guys tomorrow night and let you know my results of my efforts. So 7-3, man, and have a good night. N1DU.
Yeah, I shut the amp down from down 40 to go back to 100 watts. But, when you come in here, and these guys, I don't know if they don't want to hear it or they don't want to listen or they can't hear it because they only go 3.6. But I usually listen 4 kilohertz wide. And when you came in, I said, wow, that's just amazing. That audio is so nice to listen to. It's got such fidelity to it and everything. It really just sounds great. Well, you know what it sounds like because you must be listening. What do you use for a receive bandwidth right now?
Receive at 35.
No, that's not enough. Open it up. Is that upper right-hand knob there? That's on this one. You want to way to the upper right-hand side. High, low, high shift, low, slow, low. It says low width, high shift. Turn the small knob to the right so you get like 5 kilohertz wide bandwidth, and I should sound even better.
Oh yeah. It does sound good. I guess I had it set lower before because the other day trying to filter something out. But yeah, it's amazing. But you know what, Randy, Ray, coming from you telling me my audio sounds great, that makes me feel great.
Well, the thing is, everybody that has one of these 890s that knows how to use it and comes in here, they just sound incredible. They just sound way, way, way better than a 2900 hertz wide radio. The fidelity is just crazy, and I'm like I said, I'm running 3400, and if I went out to 4 and then tweaked it and everything, you need another guy you got to have another guy with a Kenwood to do it because nobody can go wide enough. But if you actually ran right out to 4 kilohertz and then took one of those user spots and screwed around with it for 4 or 5 hours, you'd get these things sounding so good it would just shock you. They would just shock you how good they sound. That's amazing. But there's another guy that has an 8. What does he have? He has a 9. He has a 990 also, and he comes in here once. No, I take it back. He's got an 890. And he comes in every once in a while, and he sounds just spectacular too. They really make a big difference on the audio. Okay, anyway, 7-3. See you later. I'm going to go to bed. I'm getting tired. N1 DVL.
Yeah, okay. I had you 5 wide there, and it sounded really good. All right, I'll catch you later on. Have a good night. 7-3, N1DU.
Hey, good night, Ray. WAHWES.
Okay, good night, all. And Tom, if you're still in there, good night. Good night to everybody else. N1 DVL.
Hey, Ray, before you go?
Yeah.
What's the model number of your Commander?
HF 2500.
HF 2500?
That's correct. Yeah, it's a Commander HF 2500.
Okay, what I thought, I looked for something like that on QTH today, and I didn't see anything. And I looked on that QRZ. I didn't see anything on there either.
Oh, they come up. A lot of people buy them. What happens, Tom, is a lot of people buy them, and they just can't learn to run them. They just simply cannot learn to run one of these. We had a guy buy one. He got it for dirt cheap. He paid $1,200 for it, and there was nothing wrong with it. He just simply couldn't run it, and he finally sold it, and he told Randy, he said, I don't want Ray to know this, he said, but he was right. I couldn't run it. But, they're easy to run. but you just got to listen to somebody who knows how to do it and believe what they tell you. You know, don't be afraid to buy one. You could buy one in a second, and just listening to me, I can get you to run it with no problem. You just do not ever, under any conditions, buy one and try to put it on the air without talking to me first, okay?
Ray, that goes without saying.
Yeah, but a lot of guys, believe you me, Tom, a lot of guys think they're smarter than everybody else, or they said, oh, it's a stupid amplifier. Anybody can tune up an amplifier, and they're a very difficult amplifier to tune up without a little tutoring. Can you hear me okay?
I'm having trouble. I have to lean forward to listen. My noise level here is 10 over 9.
Okay, well, I put the amp back on. So basically, because the amplifier tubes have so much additional gain, where you only need to drive them with 40 or 45 watts, the average guy can get into trouble. Because he's used to an amplifier like the one you have with 2 tubes. You hit it with 100 watts, you can't screw up. There's no way to screw up. This one here, if you overdrive it and it's not loaded right, you're going to pin the grid current, and you're going to wreck a $2,000 set of tubes. You can destroy these tubes very, very, very fast if you don't listen to somebody who knows what they're doing. So that's for a guy like you, that's enough said. So if you ever buy one, bring it home, get it all set up, put all the connections in, and turn it on until you get me on the air.
Yeah, what I was looking to do is just to look at one, to see what it looked like.
Well, they're not the best looking amp I've ever seen. They're not. I don't think they're particularly pretty, but they're. I can tell you what, inside, if you go inside the amp, you'll never find one better. In my opinion, it's probably the best amplifier. Certainly one of the best amplifiers ever made.
Okay, like I say, I figured I'd ask somebody that knows.
Well, I can tell you this for a fact. The Alpha is certainly not any better. Maybe some of the old Alphas are as good. They're definitely not better. But the problem is everybody that's got one of those old Alphas is going to want at least twice the money that you can buy the Commanders. The Commanders don't have a stellar reputation, and you can buy them cheap, but they're every bit or better than the Alpha amplifiers. But again, you got to be smart. You got to know how to use the thing, and there's the issue right there. So, but it's believe me, there's nothing hard about running it. I mean, don't be afraid of buying one. There's absolutely nothing hard about running it. You just got to get the tune-up procedure right. That's all, and you just got to watch that grid current. If you can over grid current these tubes very, very easy because you can overdrive them. Now, see, if you had an 890, the thing about the 890 is you can go into the menu of an 890 and program it, say max power 45 watts. No matter what you do to the radio on any band, you won't be able to go over 45 watts. So therefore, you can't overdrive the amplifier.
Roger, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't do it because I've been playing with these amps a long time, so I know enough to turn down the power. But if I was new at it, like you bought one, I'd say, yeah, and you had an 890, I'd say set the max power at 40 watts on every band, and that way there you can never overdrive the amp.
All right, thanks, Ray. I'll let you. I know you was headed out and you was pulling your amp off. All right, I'll let you go. And hey, thanks for the info there.
Okay, Tom. Back down to low power. 7373 N1 DVL.
Okay, you rest easy now. 73s. KC3 KXP clear.
Good night, Dick. If you can still hear me, I'm on low power. Back to 100 watts. N1 DVL.